Hey, and thank you for joining us for another episode of On the Table podcast. I am one of your hosts, KO. This is
Very drunk liquor fan.
Spot Collins. He just took another shot. And Racetrack Rob on my
Your
left.
favorite Rob. Racetrack Rob.
Racetrack
Yes,
Rob.
I am.
So today is October 7th, and the vice presidential debates took place today, and we watched them
Today on November 7th, the day of our Lord.
while smoking a blunt. Multiple blunts.
Multiple blunts.
And I don't know. I don't feel like. Oh my God, my cat! My cat just moved.
Oh wait, on the camera.
Oh my God. The realism has been broken.
Broke the fourth wall.
The fourth wall has been altered.
Back. Oh wow.
Pepper was like,
Pepper has cosmic awareness.
fuck yeah. Fucking podcast. Scoot it a little bit.
All right, so
You want to keep it going? I'll never cut it. Hey,
we'll just keep going.
we're rolling.
We're real. We're real here.
Yeah, I have a cat. My cat. Sometimes you'll see her sitting by Rob, but
Cat does catty things.
yeah, she does things. She does what she wants. But yeah, the debate. I feel like it was kind of similar to Trump and Biden's debate. They kind of both stick to their sides and didn't try to really win over people from the other
It's a lot less
side.
entertaining.
Yeah. They were talking over the moderator, like Trump and Biden, and Pence kept on answering the question like before. He got backed up on questions and started asking answering the previous
To go
question.
back to what she said.
I'm like, all right, bro.
Like, you don't need
You
to
can
answer
do that. All right.
No, he can. He can use his time to say whatever he wants.
That's what I'm
but,
saying.
like,
He can use his time to say whatever he wants, so he can do that. Like you can answer the previous question, but once we get to the end, you're gonna be missing one. and she's
Exactly.
gonna
No,
be
he's gonna have to go
up
back.
on one. He's not gonna be able to go back one.
He's gonna have to.
Right.
No, what happened during Trump's second debate? He's like, and Pence just wanted to let me know, let you guys know from the previous
He
debate he wanted to answer.
This is his last point that he didn't get to answer.
Can you turn my bass up just a little bit? Sound like I'm in the back in a
Yeah,
box.
turned him down a little too. Yeah,
Give me more bass.
There we go.
Yes, there we go. I want to be with you guys.
perfect.
But that was like the funniest thing. He's like, let me go back and answer that question. He's spending 2 minutes answering it. I'm like, all right, bro, do you not want to answer this question?
I'm like,
Well, that's actually a good tactic if you don't want to answer certain questions.
answer the previous question.
Answer I still have more to say for the previous question for the next 2 minutes.
I feel like while they were talking, they should have had the time pop up right there and just start counting down. And they should be able to see that time too. Like, oh, once that gets to 0, there's no you just keep talking, bro.
Your
It's
mic
like
cut off.
a loud sound is gonna play or something, or your mic is gonna get cut off. Like,
Just the
you
sound
need
of
to
a
stop
orangutan.
talking.
Just like,
Yeah,
over the whole time you're talking. And I feel like Justice Reform.
my middle name.
Yeah, I would prefer if they just cut the mic off, so that it's just perfect silence.
Just
Yeah,
have it
and-
fade away. Have it fade away while they're talking. Just,
And furthermore, I would take reform in the medical.
yeah. And you can hear them talking in the background.
I just really want you to get my point across. My foreign affairs plan is that I just really want to slap the fuck out and move on. Like, what the fuck? Why are you
I have
yelling?
the special features and the highlights where you can hear what they're saying. But the normal debate stream is just the other person talking or them just moving on with the debate. Watch them freaking out like these fuckers cut my.
They cut my
But
damn mic
you-
off.
I said, yeah, and I just fucking pussy ass motherfucker. And yeah, the president was caught using racial slurs during the debate.
There was some hot mic incidents a while ago. I feel like probably some years ago, actually, though, where people were just saying stuff around mics that they didn't think were still on, and
Number one, if a mic is there, shut up.
yeah,
I learned that
watch
early
what
in
you
life.
say around it.
Exactly. I learned it early. If you got a mic anywhere around you, you instantly got to watch what you say. So, hey, Mr. Mike.
I feel like these guys like live this life so hard that they just don't even think about it, and it just like slips their mind.
Yeah.
They just get sloppy. All the quaaludes.
All the
So
quaaludes.
we all watched the debates. I want to go around and see who everybody thought won, beginning with Spot. Who do you think won?
I feel like, is it Kamala or is it Camila?
Kamala?
Kamala?
I think it's Kamala,
Is
but I don't
Is
know.
it? I thought it was Kamala.
Kamala.
think it's Kamala la la la.
Kamala la 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 la.
Kamila?
Just in case you get elected to
Kamila.
vice president, please don't put me in jail for these jokes. It's just
He's like,
jokes.
my first
You have to think
decree
harder
is
than
to
that,
put
bro.
him in jail.
I was watching these podcasts during the
I
debates.
happened to stumble across the OnTheTable podcast. Yeah,
And I just
you're going to jail.
found this dude in the flannel to be quite controversial, and I need him to be in prison
Antagonistic.
immediately.
Quite a detriment to society.
Yeah, he's definitely a burden. Death penalty. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like she won almost by default. Like, her job was just like Joe Biden's job, which he almost screwed up. But her job was to literally, like, just go in there and be civil, state the game plan, and as long as you do that without stumbling, presenting false information, or, coming out of character, you're going to win. Because there's a lot of people that are just against Trump automatically. So they need a reason for you to, they need a reason to hate you, basically. You need to give them a reason to hate you. And if you don't do that, you're going to win off tops. Like, I don't feel like Mike Pence won over any centered voters. I don't feel like he won over any voters that may have been, like, on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Kamala Harris might have won them over, except for, like, the rich or, like, the elite class. I don't feel like she said anything to kind of, like, bring them over, and I don't feel like that's her target market anyway. So I feel like she might have won just off a default of she didn't make a mistake on stage. Like, I didn't see her make any flaws or say anything.
I think it is a target market as well, though.
Hmm?
I think you're wrong there.
Or
With
the rich?
Yeah.
Well, I think
Because she
privately.
said that they're not going to ban fracking or whatever.
No,
She's like,
yeah, I think
we're
there's.
not going to ban fracking.
I think personally, yes, she has like an interest in the
Mhm.
rich and all that. Like, yeah, there's probably people lobbying for her to do certain things, but I don't think that, as far as like who she's trying to reach as her base, like the voter base, she's not really concerned about getting the rich vote.
I think she is. I think both sides are, because I feel like they're both pandering to different sets of rich people. Like, they're conservative rich people, and then there's liberal rich people, rich
True.
people who agree with the left's ideas or
I
whatever.
agree with that. So, Ko, what's your answer?
I don't know. I feel like it's stalemate, because I feel like I agree with Spot. I feel like, because Biden is ahead right now in all the polls and all the predictions, that all she has to do is just reiterate their platform in a way that's honest, and she doesn't step out of line or have a seizure on stage, she's good. Or she doesn't say anything that's like a soundbite that they could use over and over on Fox News, like, oh, look, she
said, I hate whites.
But I feel like the debates, the way they're structured, it doesn't allow for the viewer to really get to know the two different points of views adequately.
And what's really happening. I feel like both sides are just accusing each other.
The whole time is really just wrestling. It's like,
yeah.
what are we watching here? We're watching them kind of take cracks at each other, but we're not learning about what laws they're going to implement once they get in, or what things they're going to do once they get in. It's just, it's more of like,
you're gonna do this.
theater.
No, I'm not. And then they'll go back. Yes, he is. Like, how many times did he say something about the Green New Deal? And she's like, no, we're not doing the Green Deal. Yes, you are. They're gonna do the Green New Deal. Yes,
Everything
you are.
seems anecdotal that comes out of their mouths. I wish there was more of a emphasis on actual facts. Like, if one person says, oh, you're weak on foreign affairs or whatever, the moderator should go, okay, wait, we're going to pause. And then behind them on the screen, actual data should pop up like, oh, you actually are. It says right there that you did vote against this bill, and it actually ended up causing black people to go to jail or whatever. Just
Exactly.
like get to the truth of the matter so the American people
Because
could make an informed vote.
A lot was accusational, and I'm like, all right, who's telling the truth? Who's not? Who's just throwing out numbers and who's not? You could say, yeah, we've done more for the American black people, but like, did you? Like, you're saying it, but
It's anecdotal. It's just based off their stories and what they're saying in the moment. But if there was actual, like, due diligence done right there, kind of how on Joe Rogan's show, like when he has guests on that say something that he disagree with, he'll have Jamie look it up on Google at least, on some type of like fact checking and be like, actually right here on Wikipedia says that, or whatever, even though it might be wrong, but it's some type of research in the moment.
There need to be a governmental website where they can keep the stats.
I kind of feel like that's a prime example of like just how deep the divide in America goes, and one of the reasons why it makes it seem so polarized. It's because even Joe Rogan gets stuff wrong, even in having like Jamie.
What? Joe Rogan gets things wrong.
Yeah, but imagine if it was 5 Jamies and they're behind the scenes constantly Googling what's right or wrong, and then that comes up on the screen.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. If you bolster aspects of it, like if you ramp it up to actually meet the needs of what you're talking about, then I totally, like a whole fact checking apparatus.
Every time one of them says something that is not true, they're like, the screen goes red, and
no, like a little text comes up underneath, like, oh, the actual
inaccurate
CDC says that this is wrong.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting away from really the core aspect of my point, which is that it really doesn't even improve with that, because anything that fact checks something thoroughly enough for the things that we're talking about in politics is going to be so damn complicated that there's going to be aspects of it that people don't understand. Because of that, it's going to be like magic to them, or it's just going to seem like this big complicated thing that's going to be easily confused by the other side. They're going to say, oh, well, your fact checking apparatus is by, and pretty much when you think about it, everyone has this already. Everyone incorporates different kind of evidences in their life, science, from the people who they think is good scientists, or they don't think is, they reject the ones that they don't think is good scientists by whatever standards or whatever, person that they think information comes from. And then they say, my people have it right, your people have it wrong. And they, and they go from there and they say, my apparatus is correct. So it's just going to be the same thing with that. So I feel like although we need that as well, I'm not saying it. None of what I've said, I feel like is good enough reason to not try and make one of those. But it's just to also realize that when dealing with people who have different intelligences, and your intelligence will influence your decision on just what even makes a good fact-checking apparatus, we got to have something on top of that also like works in the favor of truth, that isn't just like clearly stating the truth for people and clearly showing people directly the truth. And I'm not saying like hide it, like it as much as you can, like be transparent, but also still presenting it in a certain kind of way. That's why I kind of like that idea that I presented last time. I don't know if we have the audio from this one, but so you have a moment in which you try and straw man. I'm sorry, not straw man your opponent. You have to steel man your opponent, and whoever can steel man their opponent the best wins in that circumstance. So
if I only had a brain. Sorry.
Wait, hold on. We have to show the guest all the Spot Collins. I don't know what that word means. Dance.
Exactly. I was like straw man.
The shiver of inquiry. Can we do that one more
if
time?
If I only had a brain. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So okay. So let me take you through straw man and
steel manning. Okay. First of all,
after I bring you down back from space. My bad.
I know what steel manning is, but for the studio audience at home.
Okay. I got you.
Let's go ahead and.
So, straw manning is when someone gives you like a BS version of your argument. So if I have a grief with you, and then I tell you like, hey, you did X or whatever, and then you're like, what the heck are you talking about? I didn't do, something that I didn't accuse you of. You're pretty much like straw manning me. or if you are listening to my argument, let's say the better way to do the straw man is to be close to my argument, but then subtly different.
You're presenting a weaker
It's
version
a weaker
of
version of what I'm
opposite's
talking about.
argument.
Yeah. It's let's say if
on purpose.
People knew that I was angry that you like left some stuff down, and then you're like, yeah, like why is he tripping about this? This is the first time I did this, but then in reality it's been like a long consistent major pattern. Then you would be like straw manning my case. Now a steel man is like the opposite, where the person has the intention to take the person's argument in the best way possible. So if you come to me with a grief and I'm like, okay, I'm going to really listen to you. And even though sometimes like you may say some things that I may not agree with, initially I'm really trying to think about this and think like, okay, in like, let's say if there's stuff that's like confusing to me about it, I'm like, in the best case scenario, and let's say specifically, I'm confused about what you mean, and how you think you're right about this. And I'm going to say, what's the best way that you could mean this? What do I think your criticism of me is? So I think when you do that, then that shows that you're really trying to actively listen and think about the person's criticism of yourself instead of just making up some fantasy about them. And then just saying, oh, nope, I must be right because, these dumbasses don't even do this, when really they totally may do something else. Let's say if they're more valid in their criticism, or they actually do have expertise to criticize you. You just like assume that they're just some kind of like uneducated dumbass. Then you look into it and you're like, oh no, they actually like really do have an education to like, to bolster good criticism for me. Then you should probably listen to it a bit more. And I feel like doing stuff like that, you don't have to explain all that. You don't have to get into the mechanics of everything that I just said. But if you just do that in a debate, then the crowd can naturally see, oh, this person doesn't even get what this other person's talking about. And then
the format has to change.
And then the other thing is that you don't even have to communicate that necessarily in like some complex way. You just see it in the interaction. So let's say I'm not listening, you are listening. So you steel man me, and at the end of your steel man, I go, yeah, no, that was pretty spot on. I have nothing to add to what you were saying. You steel man me perfectly. And then the opposite happens. I steel man you, and then you go, yeah, but that wasn't really it. You got like this and this and this and this wrong. Just in that exchange, you've already won in the fact that you had to correct mine. I conceded to you. It's like, yeah, no.
I don't know if the other person won. I feel like there's a greater understanding. There's like, now we understand better both points of view.
Exactly. But now, the organic interaction just leans towards the truth, and showing the truth.
Right now, it's structured to where it's all
debate.
I feel like
you present your facts, I present my facts, and then we call each other.
They should have to.
Right now, it's structured to where it's all straw man. It's like that's all they do.
They should bring a PowerPoint presentation to the debate with photo or analytical evidence. First of all, this is you with your pants down on August 24th.
The debates should be like the NBA Finals. There should be like a week of debates or 2 weeks of debates, and just have it.
I'm with debate month. Every
debate
week.
Month, okay.
Every week is a different debate for somebody else.
Yes.
I'm really with that panel idea you had, where it was like 5 people on a panel debating, but they're all from different things. Like both Secretary of Defenses, whoever. My cabinet versus your cabinet is about to debate.
Both cabinets debate each other for a month.
I want that back to back. Like I want that okay, maybe like 2 weeks of debates. Like maybe like 2 weeks.
2 weeks seems debates. Like the sweet spot. That seems like a good.
After they've been like living in the wilderness and they're just fucking dog tired. Like they've been on like, or just like on a hard exercise regimen, adjusted to whatever their age is, because we got some old ass people.
They're not gonna make it.
I don't want some kind of legal system where they're just getting killed and stuff. But
they don't all have to sit down during debates.
I want to see what they do when they're just really tired, when they're not like well rested, when they haven't had a bunch of a bunch of time to plan it. I want them to have to plan this like months out. Like, damn, okay, I'm gonna have to remember. Like, if I'm gonna come with like a fake role of who I am, I'm really gonna have to practice and solidify this in because I'm gonna have to go through hell while holding this role.
This nigga wants Joe Biden out in the wilderness going nuts, having a beard, talking about,
yes.
I'm for the American people. I'm for the American people. I'm for
and
the
I want
American
Joe
people.
Rogan in a helicopter, like hosting this event.
American people.
As we can see, Joe Biden is down there. He started a fire.
The American people. American people. I'm for the American people. I'm for the American people.
Presidential candidate survivor.
American people from the American
Naked
people.
and Afraid.
For the American
Presidential
people.
candidate.
The alone version of America. I'm for the American people. I'm for the American.
You know who I would think would actually win that with surprising ease?
Bear Grylls.
Yes, but simultaneously no. Mike Pence.
I was thinking that too.
Bro, he's like, I'm telling you, man, he's like an ice elf.
Still in his suit, too. Like, he don't even get out the suit. He's just
he's from one of the 12 realms.
Yeah, the double swords and the...
Spottleheim or whatever, but whatever it is.
He's going to be out in the wilderness in the same suit. Like,
they're going to be in the desert, bro, and he's not going to be sweating. He's going to be in, like, Utah. Trump's going to be, like, looking like jerky. Like orange, he's gonna be like amber, bro.
Mike Pence is no backpack, no nothing, no provisions.
Suit still clean, no dust.
He just picks a fish up out of the water and eats it raw. Come on, Trump, keep up.
I don't even think Mike Pence has like hair. I think that hairpiece is just like a solid plastic.
Can we talk about the fly on Mike Pence's head?
Like Astro Boy.
Pence had a fly land on his head during the debate.
It was there for like 3-4 minutes, man. Oh my God, to be a fly on Mike Pence's hair on that debate.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it had like a hollow sound when it landed.
Yo, I bet you that fly was on his head like, hey, I'm on TV, girl. Hold on. I want to give a shout out to Pookie and May and them.
No, but I'll give Pence his respect. I mean, in actuality, if Pence was the president right now, oh God, we would be. I'm gonna stop cussing. I'm sorry.
I feel like
cussing on the podcast.
I feel like we'd be better respected.
We would. Sadly, yeah. So I do think we would be better respected, but I still think we would have just as much, if not more, of like the death count and like the problem aspects.
If not more. Mike Pence just seems confused at all turns.
Oh yeah, but that's why Pence could have been Bush 2.0.
I feel like Mike Pence gets like all the news of what Trump does late. Like, wait, Trump has COVID?
Be like Trump, but without all the tweets and all the irrational speaking.
Right, exactly.
He
Bush
just would be laid back and be
a laid back idiot. War. You have to like
war over there.
More
war.
Bush didn't tweet, but
Fuck that poverty.
He talked. The same thing.
He was like, fool me once.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Fool me twice.
You can't fool me. Can't get fooled again.
Can't get
fooled the third time.
Can't get fooled again.
I can't get fooled again.
You just can't do it.
It ain't right to fool me a third time.
It ain't right. It ain't right, and I won't do it.
I'm sorry, that's Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh! Fool me can't get fooled again.
I can't get fooled again.
Fool me can't get fooled again.
To give Bush his credit, Bush had at least enough charm to know when to tone it down.
Bush was a politician, a career politician.
He was the white Chris Rock of politics.
Trump is like a New Yorker businessman. Everything I say goes. I say what I want when I want to say it.
First of all, I don't like this podcast.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It
doesn't support me. It doesn't support my views and my values.
And
they don't talk about how huge my hands are.
First of all, my hand movement.
First of all, my hands are huge.
Tremendous.
You can tell how tremendously huge my hands are.
They show strength.
Just watch the way my hands move.
As opposed to Biden got little tiny hands. He has little tiny hands. He can't even hold himself. He has little tiny hands. And me, I have huge hands. They're huge.
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 And I hold a lot of things all day. They all fit in my ginormously huge hands. They're huge.
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 They're huge. No, like they're huge. Everybody says they're huge. Everybody says they're huge. I have black friends. They say I have the biggest hands they've ever seen. They're huge.
We need to start like a little Trump quartet. Huge.
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 Huge. Huge. Huge. They're huge.
Rob, you're a little flat on your huge.
My hands are huge. I have the huge hands.
Rob Trump, I just don't think you want it.
Look, Rob Trump, I just don't think this is really what you want.
Rob,
You're not singing
you're
huge
fired.
enough.
you fired, Rob.
Huge.
You fired, Rob. You're not
You're
singing huge enough for us. Build a wall around Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is why I wouldn't vote for Trump, because wasn't this nigga supposed to build a wall?
And they didn't talk about the stimulus check during the debate.
Some would say that the wall has made some progress, but
First of all, our wall has made tremendous progress. We have a fence or wall-like structure. We have an idea of the wall across tons of places in Mexico. North to west, south to east, all over the wall.
The wall.
The wall, and we didn't pay a cent. I'm going to add you. We didn't pay not one dime. The wall is made of great human beings like me and you, proud boys, proud Americans that I told
Stand by.
stand by and shoot anything coming across. Stand up.
we actually also have Young Thug here to promote the section of the wall that did get built that the Democrats won't talk about. That actually has iron slats. So we got Young Thug in here to
Present the slats.
slat.
Bro, they don't even stay on
Slat.
topic that long, bro. They immediately divert away from the question that was asked and just start talking about some
That
other
was the
stuff.
funny thing to me. Like, this was the sidestep show. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted to see a Euro step, all you had to do was watch this debate.
Like,
What was the question? That my
They
favorite
take
part.
the long way around.
That one question about both y'all presidents is old as hell.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Like, what how's it gonna be if you have to take over Kamala? And then she went into
First
some
of all,
other stuff.
Walk down memory lane.
when he hired me, I can remember
She's
being
like,
a
during the
13-year-old.
civil rights times, back when Mama Jones was living.
I had a vision like That's So Raven of the past. I could see Rosa Parks on the bus. Like, hold on, time out. What does that have to do?
Screen started doing that wavy transition.
It's Kamala Harris as Rosa Parks. That's
Goes
just
to a
her.
flashback of her storyline.
She is Rosa Parks.
You had to resist it like a roofie. You were like, wait a minute.
Like, wait, no, stay on topic. Your president is old. What are you gonna
What
do?
are you going to do?
Did they even answer that question?
Not really.
No.
Oh my
no,
God,
bro,
that
she
was the
just told the
funniest
story of her
thing.
past and then time allotted. And I
And
was
then what did he
And
do?
she
He
told
said
her
something
resume.
else. Oh no, he answered the previous question.
Yeah, he answered the previous question.
That was hilarious. I'm like, so neither one of y'all gonna talk about how your president could die in office? Okay,
neither.
all right. We just gonna skip over that.
And they didn't even ask the question. I know it probably happened too soon, but they didn't ask him about the stimulus check and about how
Mhm.
Trump ended negotiations.
I didn't know the mediator picked the questions.
I know that's weird too. It's like
Well, I feel like that's always been standard.
Yeah, but
practice, that the mediator picks the questions.
that's
and
kinda
it's,
stupid,
two
like-
or three of them
listens to
should at least
should
be from the crowd
from the
or
people.
from people or from scientists. Someone else.
And this should be like standard like there should be like
I agree. I think there should
Like
be
every other
Frequently
question
asked
should be
question.
a question from the population. Like, oh, and
frequently
the
asked
people
questions.
are asking, what are you gonna do about
The
Social
people
Security?
want to know. That Breonna Taylor question
Twitter
was
asked.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Black Twitter asked.
the one question I feel like they did ask was that like how would you want your state to vote type thing.
The
And-
number one asked question on hashtag the shade room was
Tinder followers. We polled 21,000 Tinder users and asked them what they thought about the debate. They want to know Would you smash or pass these 5 people? Swipe left or swipe right?
Number one answer selected was hell yeah. Trump is thick, spelled with the Q.
Kamala,
How
you
do you feel?
first. 2 minutes.
Go.
Yeah. Okay, that's your 2 minutes.
I'd be
No, I'm
like,
sorry. I totally hijacked your point, bro. What were you saying?
I don't even remember. But yeah, I just feel like that debate was not as hilarious, but like in a sophisticated way, it was funny. Cause the whole like, I'm talking, I'm speaking. How she like,
Like all of that.
she
is
did
for
what
show.
she did what Joe Biden should have done was son Trump every time he interrupted him. Like, Trump, I'm speaking, bro. I would like the American people to hear what I have to say.
I feel like that type of stuff hits harder when there's a crowd to play off of.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the crowd is like, the crowd is going to make a sound or like a little, or they're going to cut to the crowd and show people's
Ooh.
reactions. Like,
In the mask and
That
shit, you can
landed.
still see.
Yeah. I know. That's what they should have some people there, just have them maxed up and
They had a couple
separated.
because Pence kept saying like all the people he brought with him. We got Amanda Bynes who's here in the audience right now. We got
He did?
he like 4-5 people. He had like a cool little list with him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have Pitbull in the audience with us here tonight,
Dang.
and he wants.
You got Dave Chappelle now.
This nigga brought like 5 people with him. I'm like, my nigga, wait, what's your VIP limit, bro? Hold on, you can't keep just bringing niggas. Like, you got everybody here with you. We got the whole cast of Cats from Broadway here with us tonight. They want to know. Like, I'm like, all right, bro. Okay, what was your favorite part of the debate? Actually, no, Rob, we didn't see who you thought won.
Nobody cares about my answer.
Nobody.
Yeah, Rob, who
Fuck
do you
that.
think won?
I think I pretty much agree with you guys. It was pretty close to a stalemate. I do think that Pence's style. The one disagreement I have is I do think that Pence's style does reach to a bit more centrist people than like Trump. Comparatively speaking, Trump. I think Trump's kind of like brashness makes him more of a turnoff to the average centrist voter. But I think like Pence's more kind of like typical politician style is probably a bit more appealing to the average centrist voter.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he probably did a tiny bit more improvement for Trump's side than Trump did, but still nowhere near enough because there's nowhere near a clear victory for him. I don't think Kamala really I would say like kind of like took a victory there. I feel like she just didn't take an L. But really, in the grand scheme of things, with her teaming up, with Joe Biden, that's exactly what they need. They just need to not walk away with the L. Like I said last time, when you're in the lead in the polls, you don't need to do anything in the debates except not
Lose.
face plant. Exactly.
And I feel like
So-
a lot of the bad things about Kamala are already known by people. Like, people know about it. So it's like
Right.
any bombshells that he could have dropped tonight,
You
they
were a
wouldn't
horrible
have landed.
prosecutor.
Yeah.
What? And now I'm the VP.
He
Let's
tried
go.
it, but she's like,
Yeah.
it just smoothed over. They just kept going. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
there's no crowd to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, and
How dare
actually,
you. And they couldn't even speak. The few people that were there.
and the funny part is, I was really thinking about it, and there was a point in which Pence was saying something in which he was kind of like rebutting her, and I actually kind of thought that Pence could have went a bit harder on her with the facts and kind of like buried her in that moment, and he just didn't. And
When he was mentioning her history with the black community, I felt like he should have murdered her, and I felt like he went a little light on that.
I agree.
But I think it's because he was running out of time. 'Cause I
Yes.
felt like he could have really.
maybe
The format is not, conducive to learning, about people's histories.
How
It's like,
long was that? An
they give
hour and a
2
half?
minutes each topic.
How long was the whole debate? An hour and
Probably
a
like
half?
an hour. Seemed like an hour.
That's what I'm saying. This should be like a 2-hour event. Like, these are the people
Yeah.
that's about to control the free world. Like, give them the time they deserve.
Yeah,
at the
stop
same
cutting
time,
them off.
I think that that Pence is probably going on that strategy because I think that the Republicans are really leaning into the whole trying to change the voter thing, and really raising doubt around the mail-in voting. But I think that it may it may potentially be shooting them in the foot. It's not a clear advantage for them to try and to bring a lot of doubt upon the system and invalidate a lot of different mail-in votes and stuff like that, and do voter suppression under the guise of trying to protect the vote from voter fraud. But we'll see. But at least outside of that, and just like themselves presenting their case, right now they're not doing a great job. But at the same time, I don't think they're really trying to salvage that ship. I think they're done trying to really like salvage their appearance. It's all through like the actual legal fight. So I feel like they're just kind of gearing up for something else. This VP to me is not that consequential, in a grand scheme of things. So I feel like neither of them really had a big incentive to really try and go after the other person's jugular. And I feel like I really
They
saw
weren't
that
down enough.
Yeah, I feel like I saw a lack of gleam in both of their eyes. I feel like
It's just
Pence,
like we both need to survive.
yeah,
to make
and I don't even I don't support Pence at all. But there was just moments in which I was just like, oh, if you would have said this, it would have been even worse for her, and she would have had more to come back from. But you didn't, and and that works in your favor.
I feel like Kamala Harris. One of these days, I'm gonna figure out what the fuck her name is. I feel like Kamala Harris at the very end said a lot of stuff that affected me more. So if I was the average American voter, I feel like she snuck it right at the end when she was mentioning like all the things about what they plan to do for low-income Americans and all that stuff. At the very end, I was like, "Ooh, okay." And then right after that, Pence said like one or two things about her personal character or something like that. I was like, "Ooh, okay." Pence is like not really playing with her shit. All right, cool. He's not trying to lose like that. I think they have set the example of how the next presidential debate should go, which is more of an open town, I think, discussion. They said. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to continue. I feel like Joe Biden will adhere to that. Like, think that Joe Biden saw how this debate went, and he's going to be like, next time I'm just going to stay cool, calm, and collective, no matter what Trump does.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden can survive a town hall. I don't know if Trump can survive a town hall.
Yeah.
In previous elections, they would have like, I don't know, I've seen it on CNN and on Fox. They would have like a crowd of people. And they'll have like, it'll be peppered with people from the left and from the right, and they'll ask them how they thought the election went. And they'll be like, but I feel like they're like, I feel like right now because of COVID, they can't like have a panel of people to ask questions about like that. Maybe they can.
Because of COVID, we can't have the political makeout session anymore that we use to determine statistical data from.
Personal political orgy is canceled.
Who did you vote for? Well, did you kiss me? I don't know yet. Well, I can't hear that answer until we make out.
How am I supposed to answer this without penetration?
Yeah.
Needless to say, herpes was rampant.
Big fact.
Yep.
This is going to be an interesting debate. We're going to have to wait until the next presidential debate to see how that's going to go. And I feel like this is where Joe Biden should shine. This is where he should really kind of like prevail. I feel like if Trump was going to win it, he should have won it in this last debate, which like I said, you thought he won. If you like a bully or an aggressive president, you definitely thought he won that last debate.
Yeah, I feel like he really missed that opportunity. And then once they started talking, he was the first to start talking about not doing another debate. I feel like he just like he like nailed his coffin shut, then like welted it.
I'm not doing it again.
And with him denying the stimulus check, I feel like a lot of people who might have been thinking about voting for him or him ending negotiations on it, that might sway a lot of voters.
And that's the funny thing. It's just negotiation. So even if he does get elected, he can negotiate and still deny it. So if
he gets elected, he's going to pass a stimulus check that'll come like as soon as he gets reelected.
Whoa, guys. Whoa. You guys are being. Let me make sure I have very great audio quality.
Very great audio.
You guys are being very down on a person who may just be making poor decisions because he's dying.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
Just want
everybody.
that.
That's
Just-
him.
just-
That's both of them.
I'm not saying that that's the case
Trump
of
Watch 2020.
that may not be the universe that we live in. But man, it would be interesting if we really did.
Trump Watch 2020.
We'll never know until
Trump
he
Trump
just
Watch
dies. He would
2020.
have to just die. Look,
Is this a good time to announce Trump Watch 2020?
This is a
Kevin?
perfect time to announce Trump Watch 2020. You want me to give you theme music?
Yes, Spot, go ahead, play the theme music.
I don't want to wait for Trump's life to be over.
Testing. Okay, good.
I don't want to wait.
Yeah. No, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm excited. Now let's get it. Hi, yeah. Spot, can you hear me in the studio?
Yeah, Rob, we hear you in the studio. We hear you out there on Trump Watch. We see you out there by the Oval Office, but not too close because of, the COVID threat. Can you tell us what's going on with Trump and what are you seeing so far on the field?
Oh man, Spot, that you Trump Watch 2020 is going really strong over here. It's funny that you mentioned field because I made sure to keep my black ass out of that since Trump is tasing and sicking the hounds on all the press over here. So we actually have to watch from a building now with binoculars. It's getting a little wild. But moving right along, putting my personal safety aside from all of this, Trump Watch 2020 is going really strong. We're keeping you guys nice and posted with all the different medical reports. And since the president has contracted the COVID, the hoax Chinese virus.
Kung flu, I believe he called
Kung flu, excuse me.
that's actually hilarious.
I believe he called it the Kung flu.
Spot KO, it's really amazing how our satellite connection connected us now. We can speak it.
That nigga called it the Kung flu. That was
when I
the-
first heard that, I was dying.
Bro, I could not stop laughing.
Like, no, he did not say that. Like,
The president of the free world called that shit the Kung flu.
he has a sense of humor. You gotta at least give him that. Like,
But what are we giving him?
Kung flu.
Get it,
Kung
she.
flu.
Get it, she.
Diddy said it's not racist to call it the Chinese flu. Then he said, well, was the Spanish flu racist? Oh, great comparison. You gotta compare yourself to someone who was like in like the 16 or 1700s or
Before
whatever.
racism was a word.
Yes, back when racism was like the norm.
Where you were weird not being racist? You mean you like everybody? Which burn her.
Exactly, treason beheaded.
Oh my god! But does he look a little sickly? Does he look a little?
Bro, not only is there videos of him like sweating and like wincing in pain, he's taking experimental drugs that have been known to give people a false sense of recovery and then crashing later.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, his doctors were saying that they're taking a kind of like throwing the kitchen sink at it method of like just a bunch of different experimental drugs. So like that whole aspect about science that isn't just the things that's made by science, it's the thought processes by which you take the medicine. That's the aspects that he really doesn't like, and he doesn't like to call science. So he may just be doing like some stupid experiments on himself potentially. But at the same time, he does have some advisors around him, so
yeah,
maybe
his medical team.
maybe they're
ordered.
kind of tempering this. But at the same time, we have idiots to the highest ranking of doctor and stuff like that. Well, maybe not the highest ranking, but at least like in a way that's very presentable to people. So I'm not too sure, what he's whether or not he's doing good treatment for himself. And then on top of that, since having the virus, he's been walking around and like spreading it to people. So there's like a long list of people who's just been like in close proximity with him since he's announced having it. He's contagious. He's spreading COVID around. There's like Secret Service people and like people in hospitals or like at different meetings and stuff. It's just like, dude, you're a walking time bomb. And he's doing like campaign, like work stuff, trying to look healthy while he's dealing with COVID.
I knew it was bad.
I'm sorry, I'll end it on this. I saw this tweet. Herman Cain, his Twitter was like tweeting in fairly regular intervals before he died. It was like on the 30th that I forgot what month he died in, but the month before that, on the 30th, they were tweeting about how he was making improvements, and the doctors were saying he's doing a bit better, and then on the 3rd he died. And so they're not going to. I feel like
Trump
they're not
could
going
be close to death, and they're not going to tell us because there's an election going on, and they are going to parade his dead corpse out there to accept that inaugural, becoming president again. Oh, here's Trump.
If they could get away with it, I think they would. But since I think that's actually really hard to get away with,
huge.
It's like
gonna be recording. Huge.
I appreciate you guys.
How do you feel about this, Trump? It's huge.
It is huge.
Once Trump starts pop locking and everything, then I'm
marionette his body out there onto that stage, bruh. They'll get the Disney people.
He goes
animatronics
from orange to gray. Like, hold on.
Literally, since I think that they can't get away with that, I think the Republican Party would just abandon him before it comes to like them really
Trump
trying to put
hologram.
on that kind of like large of a sham. thankfully, that's it's impossible.
The Trump hologram.
I'm sorry, I literally just lost my point with the Trump animatronic.
This nigga's dying.
If Trump goes, it probably will be worse though for the Democrats because Pence will take over and then he'll have a different VP and then he'll be more smoother than Trump and just you know. And if he gets a good VP, it'll be a wash.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus, Trump. I know it was bad when he had his shirt open to Ricky Martin level.
Trump?
Yeah, when he was like announcing, "I'm doing fine. I'm good." He had his shirt.
A little hot in here, but
yeah,
I'm
he had
right.
his shirt open like 4 buttons to like Papi Chulo. His shirt was like open to here.
Sweating.
It was like he had his shit open like this.
Because of the election, they're gonna inject him with whatever they gotta inject him to get him out there in front of those cameras to be like, "I'm fine."
And then that's gonna be what they're gonna say is the cure.
Mm-hmm.
So much Adderall. Trump, never mind. I don't have Adderall.
But see, this is the thing. If they can just pump you with a bunch of drugs, then rich people wouldn't be dying of it. And rich people die of this all the time. COVID is not the thing that we have answers for right now. Mm-hmm. So I think it can all go away in a week. Like in a week from now.
Dying, yes, but standing in front of a camera for 2 hours or whatever, they can inject you with some stuff that you'll be able to do that. You can hit a line of coke and you'll be able to get in front of that camera and say whatever.
First of all, I just want to let the American people know that I am fine.
I'm great. And don't worry about me.
You shouldn't worry about me.
Later on that night, he'll be wrecked.
Guys, great news. I remember my point now.
There we go.
My point was that this is why Trump's like strongman aspect of him effectively makes worshiping this kind of guy and like following this kind of person a death cult. It is through his bravado that he is unwilling to change like to reality. So when different things happen, like a disease, he can't say like, "Hey, we should listen to the doctors and like kind of hunker down or like eat the chicken noodle soup or I'm sorry, that was very unvegan of me. Eat the vegan chicken noodle soup."
That sounded sexual for some reason.
I know that turned you on.
And eat the chicken noodle soup. You got hot sauce?
No.
I'm not sure, but I feel like at first, when the pandemic first started, a lot of the professionals were disagreeing on a lot of things. Like Fauci was saying at first that masks weren't going to do anything, and that some of the
that was for very, very easily understandable reasons that have been obscured.
And then later on, he said that he was saying that because they wanted to keep the mask usage low so the professionals could get it. It's like,
Exactly.
okay, but you could have just said that at the jump. Just hey, don't run out and grab up all the masks.
That I actually agree with. I do think that they could have went about presenting that info better, so it kind of doesn't look as political.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is the Democrats. Their opposition is so poorly handled. Like, they're always dropping the ball on the optics of like how to actually just put up just decent resistance against like what the Republicans are doing. So it's like that on. But at the same time, I don't think it is risen to the level of like them being just like wholesale wrong about the like how the Republicans have handled like the whole like coronavirus and quarantine like very ineffectively.
I feel like it was gonna be tragic either way, but they should have shut down the economy full stop
all the way,
and immediately initiated cash payments to everybody who was going to be missing money because of the economy being shut down, and then that would have solved the problem. But politics being the way it is, I feel like the Democrats saw it as an opportunity to use something against Trump and gridlock it up to where it's like they're going to always ask for more than what Trump is willing to give them. And then Trump is always going to disagree with that because it's like he wants his name to be on the check. He wants it to be Trump check or whatever, Trump's $1,200.
Well, I very much agree that they should do something like that. I just feel like the Republicans are never going to give you a solution like that, because what you're pretty much saying is we should shut down the economy and institute socialism because it's no longer free market stuff. Paying people a living wage so that they're not starving because there's like mass unemployment because we need to like shut down non-essential jobs so we don't spread a deadly disease around is not the free market. That's not capitalism.
But they did that eventually anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do it anyway.
You're going to have to do it, or people are going to start
Right.
rioting.
Exactly. So now you have two different people. You have one person who says that they resist the thing that helps you the most, that you know they're going to capitulate to by ideology. They say, we don't believe in doing this thing that you know they're going to do. But then you have this other person who says they believe in doing the thing that you know, that you want them to do, but they never execute well. Who do you go with? I personally, in that, would go with the person who says they're going to execute the thing, but then they keep failing in the execution, because then at least I can get in there and work something to do something to make them actually go with it. But the other person is going to fight me, literally until we're about to just like die from whatever we're going through, and then like throw out the least bit of crumbs of what I'm talking about. That's really never going to get us anywhere. So for me, I feel like that's why I always have that bias towards the Democrats, while being completely against like most of the stuff that they do, or finding them like very ineffectual, or just like not really being that aligned with them. It's such a difference with them in my mind.
I feel like the Democrats are Republican light. They're like, they hold a lot of the leanings of Republicans. They just don't espouse them in public because their donors are like, basically they're just different rich people. They both are beholden to the rich, and whatever the rich want to happen is what's going to happen.
And that's exactly what, and that's why I think that what we're basically saying in that situation is that Republican equals beholden to capital, and Republican light means lightly beholden to capital. It's like, yeah, you espouse that you're against being beholden to capital, and you say that you promote equality and you want financial opportunity for people, but you don't believe in any of the mechanics that actually delivers you that stuff. You base all of your premises off of the things that come from people who don't believe in it in the first place. It's like people who are socially liberal, but then they also believe like most libertarian kind of like economic schools of thought. It's just like
I think they both believe in it. They just believe in different ways of allocating the money to people. Like rich people, the Republicans would say that it's trickle down economics, and left liberal people will say you got to give the money to the people and let them stimulate the economy that way. But I feel like
right, which are two different. That's what I mean. So that's what I mean when I say two different schools of thought. Because one school of thought is going to tell you that giving people the money is going to be more effective. Another one's going to tell you no, like putting it through businesses and having it come down through jobs is more effective, and and kind of putting it in the hands of like the capital class and business owners is the better way to do that. So it's like capital servicing the capital class. That's what we mean. I feel like that's like really what we mean when we say capitalism. So that's why I think if you say I'm not that big of a capitalist, or even if you it really the thing is it's like it's more about just acknowledging whether or not capitalism is just not perfect. If you acknowledge that, then you go, okay, I believe it doesn't function perfectly, but I also don't believe in any solution that anyone is presenting aside from just using literally that thing in like the very thing that is that's kind of like wrong in and of itself. I feel like there's really kind of no way out, outside of that paradox. If you you get kind of stuck in the paradox of I guess kind of like the mindset that you have. Like you gotta have like you gotta kind of step out of look at something from a different perspective for you to be able to solve that thing. I'm getting a bit esoteric on that one, but
I think that
that is I feel like the main bias problem of them is that they're still kind of reasoning from things from the Republican perspective. I'll leave it at that.
I think that Trump should have initiated the checks earlier, and they should have been steadily coming to everyone. And in that way, he would have won just off rip.
Yep.
But even then,
I gave y'all money. Huge.
He started.
I agree, but
feel
then
like
that's too
he
much
could have
Bernie
tried to do
Sanders.
that, but I feel like the
Mhm.
Democrats could have stifled that and been like, we actually want to give people more money, so we're not going to approve your whatever spending budget you put forward. And I feel like that a little
not
bit of
big
that
enough.
is what.
They
What do you
might
mean
have,
it's
but
huge?
I feel like that would have been so weird because then while the mainstream Democrats would have been fighting against it, Bernie Sanders and AOC would have been supporting it because it's so much socialism. It's like it's so much of the exact kind of policies that they ask for. If they actually had it and if Trump did that and it wasn't anything weird about it, like he's actually giving the people money, and like Nancy Pelosi is trying to hold that up, I feel like they probably would have stood with him, and it would have really like made like a weird political fracture.
I feel like when he did do the checks, they were like, I don't know, they were talking about the fact that it had like the Trump on it and stuff like that.
He sent you a letter telling you to thank him.
And they bring that up, and it's like, I don't know.
And he also
I feel
delayed
like
that money getting out so that he can do that.
I feel like either way, he's gonna be damned if he does and damned if he don't. Like, it's not gonna be enough for some people, and it's like they should have. I feel like his administration did not handle the pandemic, good. But I don't have any faith that a Democratic association would have handled it better. I feel like both would have had,
They would have had a problem.
clunky responses to
I feel
it.
like you should have shut it down all the way.
Yeah.
Deliver the stimulus check because we're going to have to do that anyway. There's other countries that are perfectly fine now because they shut all the fucking way down. Freaking sorry. But we're so money driven that we couldn't shut down for a month or two just to let other people like get their lives back in order.
But I don't know. I feel like you can only shut down to a certain level because food and everything has to come in.
No, we understand essentials.
You can only shut down so much with capitalism.
Yes.
If you had socialism, then you can shut down for a longer period of time while
Essential places.
redispersing. Exactly, while keeping essential places open, redistributing wealth so that people don't starve and die.
I'm mad that a lot of essential places aren't getting like hazard pay because of this stuff. Sorry. Like our shop's not getting hazard pay. A lot of people I know aren't getting hazard pay. And it's like, bro, we working during a pandemic. You ain't gonna issue some law to say we get paid more.
I feel like that. I agree, but I think that should be done by case type of thing because maybe the business might not be able to afford it. And
I
if you
don't
just
care.
levy that law on them, they might disappear altogether.
I don't
Then
like.
you lose the whole job or the whole income.
Then we're not essential.
You could probably. I feel like you could probably do that through subsidies in a business.
I'm gonna sue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Subsidizing.
sue and subsidize you guys. So that was a presidential debate. It was awesome. Also / Trump Watch 2020 with this sick ass nigga with the Rico Suave chest out.
Rico Suave Trump.
Yo, Rico Suave Trump. I knew once I seen him with 2 buttons loose.
Huge, my man. Hey,
Yeah, with the
huge,
puppy
hey.
shirt.
Hey, puppy chulo,
Hey,
my man.
puppy. First of all, I got a stimulus check coming from you, and it's huge, puppy. I got a chopped cheese sandwich, and it's huge.
And we're going up like the elevator.
We're gonna go up like the elevator, puppy. We got parties. I got girls. I got blow. I got whatever you need.
We're
It's
out
huge.
here in Biscayne.
We're out here in Biscayne, getting lit. It's amazing. It's huge.
Big lake.
Yes.
It's big lake.
It's huge, like my hands. It's big, puppy. Come through. I got the chopped cheese. I got stitches. I got scratches. Whatever you need. Come through.
Huge.
I'll be at the bodega. I know he said it wrong. I'll be at the bodega.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment if you disagree with anything any of us said. Please
I
like.
don't
please
care.
subscribe.
I don't care.
We need it.
Shout
Our
out to the
families'
Lakers.
lives depend on it. Please.
Go Lakers.
Yes, the Lakers. Yeah.
Go
Go
Lakers. Go Lakers.
Oh, we already know they're gonna win.
Go
I
Lakers.
have my theories on that. I feel like they're already gonna win, but
Win for Kobe. Lakers in
yes,
5.
It's already set up.
We want to riot.
Bet
We're
on
not
the
gonna riot.
Co-
We're not
bet
gonna
on
riot.
the Lakers. Okay.
Lakers in 5.
People are going to riot. They're going to riot,
We aren't going to riot,
but people will riot.
but people will riot. I'm not rioting.
Just tell us. Just let us know when.
Oh shit.
That shit
I already started.
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Oh, welcome to the show. My name is Jose Canseco. This is KO the Night Thief, and then that over there is Racetrack Higgins.
I want to be able to let a little bit of talking go, and then we remember to do the intro, and then we do it.
Okay.
So he can start reading the article, and then like after we talk about it a little bit or we joke about it, we come back to the.
Welcome back to the table and in the podcast.
Oh,
No,
did we introduce? No. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
I want it to be like that. Like,
Okay.
like
It's always gonna be a
organic,
timer. Like, how long does it take them to introduce the show?
to remember to introduce the show.
We gotta make
I'm
an
down
intro.
with all that. We just have to keep this in with us discussing that part right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
It's
fine.
in there right now. It's
in there
recording.
right now. I'm
Okay.
recording.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Da, 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 da.
I mean, we can run it back. We don't have to.
No, fuck you, Rob. You wanna
I'm
ruin
gonna
everything.
edit it to where it starts with you just reading about Mark Wahlberg's history of racially motivated
okay.
Friends.
attacks.
I have friends. Friends. Time to meet my friends. This is Kara. Rob.
I'm gonna try not to breathe on the mic, and we're trying to look at the camera the whole time.
Wait, should I-
Those are
wait,
all my friends.
am I supposed to do the same?
Yes. Try to look at the camera when you're talking to us.
Stop fucking it up, Rob.
Amazing.
Stop fucking it up. Stop fucking it up, Rob.
Because that
fucking it
keeps
up.
people engaged with the
Stop fucking it
video.
up.
They want to see your eyes. People engaged with the video. They want to see your eyes.
Alright.
All right, stop selling virtual weed in my home.
Okay,
No, I'm just playing.
I'm sorry.
Oh yes. Well,
I was
excuse
dealing with
me.
these digital drugs.
Back to this evening's story.
Oh yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's his story of racial
Marquise Wahlberg's.
Marquise Wahlberg's history of racially motivated attacks has resurfaced after the actor was accused of hypocrisy for sharing a post supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. The TED star shared a picture of George Floyd, for whose death sparked protests across the United States after police officers knelt on his neck for 9 minutes, to his Instagram feed last week in support of Black Lives Matter movement. The murder of George Floyd is heartbreaking. We must all work together to fix this problem, he wrote, praying for all of us. God bless. Hold on, my bad, I'm fucking up.
Lion sack
trying
of
to-
What's that?
trying
Okay, I want to see the outrage.
Run the fucking.
Come on, scroll.
I gotta be the
Scroll
cameraman.
slave.
God damn it, produce.
The dude that killed Osama bin Laden was banned from a flight for not
Banned.
wearing a mask.
Yes, I saw that.
I mean, if anybody deserves to not wear a mask, then I really won't say anything.
He should get a second chance. He should get a
Different.
pass.
Yeah, maybe I'll give him a pass.
I mean, like he should be able to just hold up a card, like, bro, I shot bin Laden. Me,
The air marshal's like, I don't give up.
Fuck.
I'm
You
the
need to
one that
put
pulled the
a
trigger.
mask we have a mask for you right here. Put it on.
All right, back to Marquise
It's like,
Wahlberg.
bro, like, I don't care who
'Cause
you
he-
shot, you were
he's a
110
thug.
degrees. Oh yeah, sorry.
This plane is not going to leave this tarmac until you put this mask on. Oh, go ahead.
Anyway, however, many commenters accuse Mark Wahlberg's hypocrisy, given his historical history of using racial slurs and hate crimes as teenagers. The Independent was approached Mark Wahlberg's representatives' comments. I have a horrible reader right now. I'm sorry, this is fucking hilarious. Let me run this section.
The
back.
Independent has approached
The
Mark Wahlberg's representatives for comments on these accusations.
Exactly.
Oh my God,
No,
I'm a little
no,
tipsy
It's okay.
and,
It's okay.
and high.
No,
It's
bro.
okay.
While living in Boston in the 1980s, Wahlberg was twice charged for race-related hate crimes.
Do it with the
Serving
accent.
time.
This is
serving
my
time
oldest.
in jail. In jail. 41 it takes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Hello.
Not
I
only
laugh.
did I switch accents, I was missing words.
You don't do the broken voice. You don't do the broken voice.
She was only 16 years old.
She was broken. She was only 16 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
I'm like trying to read this shit, but then like do the accent, but then I keep laughing at myself. I'll hear how I say this shit, and I'll like giggle. I'm like,
all right, look,
Let's give
I'll
Spot
go
his chance. His go.
I got it. Let's see where we are.
Serve your time in jail for whatever the attacks.
Wait, where we at? While living in Boston in 1980s, Wahlberg twice was charged with race-related hate crimes, serving jail time for one of the attacks. Yeah, I've been practicing. No, it's just the alcohol. That's all. In 1986, and then 15-year-old Mark Wahlberg and 3 friends were charged with chasing 3 black children and pelting them with rocks while yelling "Kill niggers," until the ambulance driver intervened. Okay, thank you. The next day, Mark Wahlberg harassed a group of mostly black children around the ages of 9 and 10 at the beach gathering of a white men to join a racially abusing and throwing rocks at him.
That keyboard works too.
A seemingly unrelated second incident occurred when 2 years later, in 1988, when Wahlberg attacked 2 Vietnamese men while high on drugs, PCP. Oh, damn.
Whoa.
That went left. I didn't know nothing about that. Hold on. Well, hold on. All right. He called one man, Thum Lam, a Vietnamese fucking shit. That's very unoriginal.
That's so weird.
A Vietnamese
That he
fucking
was
shit.
A Vietnamese cuss word.
No, but he called him a Vietnam fucking shit. That's all he called him.
Oh.
That's all he called him.
Oh, that's the man's name.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, why would he say that? I thought that was the meaning of the word.
No, I feel
it's like, damn,
like,
bro, a
what?
Thumb Lam is a fucking shit.
Yes, I'm like,
whoa,
whoa.
bro, you went and did research to learn how to tell this man "fuck you"
He
in
reached
his
into
name.
his bilingual bag just to pull out a curse word.
Yeah, that's something I do, bro. I learn how to say "fuck you" in your language
In
just so
French?
you understand, bro. All right. He called the man Thum Lan, Vietnamese fucking shit, and knocked him unconscious with a 5-foot wooden stick while punching another man, Army veteran Johnny Tren, in the eye later in the same day. Officers reported that Wahlberg used racist slurs to describe both men. What was he charged with? For the first attack, Wahlberg was found guilty of violating the civil rights of his victims, with civil rights injunction being issued against him and his 2 friends, and the case was settled the next month. Month.
Whoa, Mark.
Say moth?
Month, like Mumford and Sons.
Month.
Like a month, yeah. For the latter, Wahlberg was charged with the attempted murder. Was charged with attempted murder and pled guilty to felony assault, charging that he was
Claiming that he was intoxicated.
claiming that he was intoxicated and that the attacks weren't race related. Due to his previous civil rights injunctions prohibiting him from assaulting, threatening, or intimidating anyone because of race or nationality, he was found to be in contempt of court and was sentenced to 2 years in prison was sentenced to Wahlberg. So, in the end, Wahlberg only served 44 days in prison and 2 years sentencing for attacking the Vietnamese man. Damn. So he only got 45 days or 2 years. What was said about the attacks in 2014? Wahlberg attempted to seek pardon for the second attack and have it wiped from his criminal record, saying that while his celebrity should in no way, shape, or form be the reason to grant it, he hoped his recent actions would show that he had changed. I'm deeply sorry for the actions I took on the night of April 8th.
Oh, no. I need a little bit more emotion in that one, bro. This is a direct quote. He's in court pleading he's already caught. He's at the mercy of the court. This is your motivation, okay? Dig deep. Let's go.
I'm deeply sorry for the actions I took.
Well, the actions I took
on the night of April 8th, 1988. As well for any lasting damages that I may have caused the victim. Wahlberg wrote in his pardon application, "Since the time I have dedicated my life to become a better person, a citizen.
I need more crying. I need more slobber and spit.
So that I can be a role model to your children, to others.
More snot.
Let me stop before I drop a real tear, girl, on camera. Hey, stop before I drop a real tear. On camera.
It's funny how acting like you're crying will make you cry.
I'm not trying to do that. Be on camera like, look, you little soft bitch. He later dropped this request in 2016, and in a 2020 interview with The Guardian, explained that he had done the work to make things right. I took it upon myself to own up to my mistakes and go against the grain and not be a part of gangs anymore. Gangs? Hold on, bro.
He's in a gang, in that gang, that thug life
That's not
out
a gang.
here.
That's not a gang, bro.
Yeah, racist. He's part of the racist gang.
That many white people in one place is called a gathering. Chill. Relax. It's called a wine tasting.
Oh, I listen to Tupac Shakur.
I decided to listen to Tupac and get the blacks' perspectives. No, it doesn't say that. So this is not a part of the article at all. So I took it upon myself to own up to my mistakes and go against the grain and not be a part of gangs anymore. To say that I was going to go and do my own thing, he explained. It made it 10 times more difficult to walk away from my home to the train station to go to school, to go to work. But I still pride myself on doing the right thing and turning my life around. I will hope that all the people will be able to get a second chance in life. Well, I mean, that's technically your third chance, but it's okay. In recent years, the actors' victims have expressed differing opinions in whether Wahlberg should still be held accountable for his actions. Kristen Atwood, one of the fourth grade students Wahlberg attacked at the beach in '86, told the Associated Press that she didn't think he should be pardoned. I don't really care who he is. It doesn't make him any exception. Sorry, I'm drunk. If you're a racist, you're always going to be racist, she confirmed. And for him to want to erase it, I think it's wrong. Trin, the second victim of the Vietnamese man attack by Wahlberg, holds a different opinion, claiming that he should be forgiven. While it is reported that the actor had blinded Trin in one eye when he punched him during the 1988 attacks, the Army veteran revealed in 2014 he actually had lost his sight when a grenade exploded while serving in South Vietnam Army in 1975.
This is an old man he punched.
Exactly. Trin explained that in the mail online, he was young and reckless, but I forgive him now. Everyone deserves another chance. I would like to see him get pardoned. He should not have a crime hanging over him any longer.
I think he deserves forgiveness, but it goes on your
I
record.
think that's it.
Goes on your permanent record.
All right, how you guys doing?
Hey, this is On the Table Podcast.
Hey.
And I'm your host, Afro Man.
Afro Man.
No, I'm just playing. I'm KO. This is...
My name is Sven Schwender.
And it is I, your father.
Roberto. Yeah, so we just got done reading an article about Marky Mark.
Marquise Wahlberg, the thug.
The thug.
The hoodlum.
From the inner city. His early days of...
Should he be forgiven?
Should he?
Let's also
That is the
account for
question.
it. He is white.
Actually, so this is a good topic right here. If y'all want to start off on this, how should people kind of like cancel culture and like forgiveness and like what should be like the extension of that? So I've been thinking about this. I got a little theory I'm kind of floating in my head. I kind of want to just put it out there. I want to hear y'all opinion about it. So when it comes to canceling people, I think that people who are a part of a group that has to do with like a certain person who's done something wrong should be less quick to cancel that person as compared to like the person who may be like a victim of it. So, for example, I kind of think that like people who are like incels and like dudes who feel very like jaded by women and stuff like that, especially ones who maybe have sexually assaulted women, I think that other guys who haven't done that should really be like think twice before they just ostracize those people, because I feel like that ostracization only turns into a further problem that just spurs, on it just grows over time and becomes like a bigger issue for that person, and then in turn the other guys who aren't doing anything, and then the other people that they're hurting as well. So I'm not too sure about that. I'm open to hear some.
You said the
situations where,
ostracization of which group?
just like anyone. So just
Okay.
kind of like I feel like you could apply this to other situations. Like if a woman does something, I feel like maybe women shouldn't be as quick to like shun that woman from society. Still recognize what she did wrong. I want people to be held accountable, but I guess like I also kind of feel like people are doing this thing where they're almost like completely pushing people in totality, like almost out of society, like in like a very like rhetorical way, not like literally. But I feel like like in a way like people are kind of showing that's what they want to do, and I kind of feel like we have to remember that like people don't just disappear. Like when someone does something wrong, and that person could be like rehabilitated and re-socialized into society and do something good. I feel like we're going to have an obvious problem if we just ignore those people. But at the same time, I don't feel like there should be some kind of thing where we're going around demanding victims of those people to be a part of that process, telling them like, oh, you should be a part of their rehab. I feel like that's definitely going to be harming victims. But I feel like people who have nothing to do with it, if I'm just some guy who heard about another guy who sexually assaulted a woman, I have nothing to do with her life or his, should I then exclude him out of society and push and shun him away and not do certain things with him that I guess doesn't have
So
to
you're
do
saying
with
guilty by
holding him.
association?
Yeah, well, and I guess like
No,
almost
it's like
but more like
you're
shunning
being
as
shunning
well.
by association. Like I'm a man too. I don't want to be associated with him, so I'm gonna tweet about how I don't like blah 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 because of what he did, or I don't like so and so because of what she said.
It depends on the situation and the degree to what, like how far that's taken. Because if the person has violated some of society's taboos, like they find children attractive or something, and like they've acted on those impulses, then I feel like they kind of should be shunned and made
Ostracized, shamed,
to feel shame. I
shamed,
think shame is a good thing for
shamed,
some people, because it's like I feel like civilization in some ways, in many ways, civilizes us.
shame,
Being around other people, but also it kind of makes us blind to some of our own
shame.
inadequacies, because there's so many people around us that you can just get lost in the crowd.
Get lost in the shame.
Yeah, but I do think that that's not the most healthiest way to go about it, to shame people just like because they're part of a certain group that's doing something.
I feel like cancel culture is very toxic.
I do too.
I think before we just used to kind of just like not like people and just kind of like put them in their space. Like when that whole Chris Brown thing happened, cancel culture wasn't a thing back then, but it was more of like all the dudes is like, oh, see, this is your man. This is what all y'all girls was liking.
They kind of tried, but there was a good amount of women who just came to his aid. Exactly. That was like, hey, I don't care if he punched me. He can punch me.
That's what I'm saying.
I do feel like it definitely existed back then. It was just it wasn't
like
as big of a. It wasn't as recognizable as a trend.
That's what I'm saying.
Like made.
No, it was like people were trying to be like, oh, we don't mess with
him
anymore.
With that.
Even with R. Kelly, like R. Kelly did his thing, and people were like, well, I still rock with R. Kelly. Like I like his music. So I feel like we don't know none of these people personally. We don't know nobody's personal lives. So I think you can definitely detach people's work from the personality. Like I know I can look at people like, he's a wonderful basketball player. He's a wonderful singer, songwriter, actor, whatever. Mm-hmm. But as a person, through the things that I've heard about, he's S-word. But, you know.
But I don't know, because I feel like people can change. So
No,
just
people
because you
can
hear
change.
about their history of them doing something, they might be a different person when you
Yeah.
meet them.
But I'm talking about, like, if I'm watching, like, an interview and I'm looking at the way dude talks, and I'm like, I like his music, but the way he just is talking to this lady right now is very, like, dickish of him. So
his mannerisms.
Yeah, his mannerisms. I just don't
manners.
like him. I don't like him as a person. But I love his songs. I love his music. There's a couple people that I have like that I don't like them as a person, just because of things I've seen, heard from them, you know, their point of views and their standpoints on life. But their songs are dope, or their artwork that they create is dope. So I rock with that, but I don't rock with them. So
I guess for me, the biggest thing is just like, at the end of the day, I feel like any system that does not encourage a person to live, if you don't encourage a person to live one kind of way, you're going to encourage them to live a different kind of way. So if you have someone who does something that you don't want them to do, but if you don't give them access to help them live the kind of way that you do want them to, then I feel like at the end of the day, it's like, what are you? You kind of got like a sham system in a way, and I kind of feel like there are certain things that it's just like we have like such a repugnant like kind of version to that thing, as we should, that sometimes it like blinds us from making like just like materially good choices for a person to incentivize them, instead of like literally like trying to like pretty much just commit like genocide over like basically what amounts to like thought crimes, and you having to like perceive what people are thinking. I mean, you can do it off of action, but once we get like deep, I feel like for me, I'm very cool with punishing people by actions, no matter what they're doing. But once you start talking about we're punishing people by crimes, then we got to get into like, I got to like subjectively, you know, kind of perceive when you're thinking something. And it's like, I don't want to really step into that kind of like authoritative, you know, space as far as like what a government does. And I don't know. I really think that a lot of times we like so many different identities and cultures have been oppressed by other cultures that in a lot of ways we kind of have like a survival mode as far as like the kind of like long term like goals that we have, or like mentality that we're instituting. And I feel like a bit more long term of a plan, or a bit more kind of holistic thinking. It's like, how do we reduce people long term? How do we combat people just going underground with stuff? Because I mean, we've already seen with substances that you just make something illegal, people go underground doing. You want to have like illegal you know, like trafficking rings and stuff like that make sex work illegal. And then cool, it's like now your business is going to be booming now, you know.
I feel like you just incentivize the good habits on your social media platform, or whatever platform, or whatever system that you're running, you know, or like you said earlier, if you're not like incentivizing good behavior, then it's bad behavior that's going to happen as well. So it's going to happen at, if you leave it alone, it's probably going to happen at an equal rate. So it's like, you gotta, if you want good stuff to happen, you kind of got to set it up to where the good stuff can happen. But I don't know.
I think cancel culture is toxic.
But I feel like it might be natural. It might be just part of how people interact in a large group on the internet.
I feel shunning bad behavior.
People who can sit behind a computer and have a keyboard and write whatever they want. They maybe the natural
but their secrets
pattern is for them to just always try to take down somebody who they feel is doing better than them.
I have a really unpopular opinion. I'll actually say I kind of like cancel culture a little bit. As much as I have a big problem with it, I do kind of like cancel culture.
I approve, like I said, shunning people and shunning bad behavior, especially done now. But like canceling people over stuff they done 10 years ago, 5 years ago, stuff like that, that's wrong. Because you, like I said, people, like you said, people change, and like they can be a completely different person now.
And it's kind of
I
knee
feel like
jerky.
I'm okay with that.
It's too quick. It's like all the evidence isn't even out yet.
No,
We just
not
got
even
the
that. If it's like,
clip or whatever, and it's like people will be already out. We hate him.
yeah,
It's like it comes out that the guy is really he's the victim or whatever, and then it's like, oh well, we still hate him. Fuck him.
no, but it's like Drake with his blackface picture.
Mm-hmm.
That picture came out and everybody was just kind of like, oh, Drake got blackface, blah 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 blah. Are we canceling him or not? Like he didn't even get a chance to be on. So like, look, first of all, this picture's old. This picture was for an art piece, da 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 da, blah blah blah. He never gets to explain it. People just like, oh, he's canceled. Look what he did in the past. His life is not perfect.
I
Well,
feel like
see,
that's
that-
a feminine tendency to just be like,
I'm
you're
not too
canceled.
sure- I'm not
I
too
do
sure
think-
that's always the situation that's going on. I've seen a lot of different canceling situations.
Oh, yeah, there's
where people
tons,
have been
but-
like they have done something in their past. People have pointed out the thing that they have done, and then they'll give like the most loose of apology, like the most BS of apology, like oh yeah, like it was in my like for me, like when anyone says it was in my past, that's not an excuse. Like you need to have something a little bit further than it was in my past, or you need to like justify maybe like you need to bring up maybe the fact that you never brought it up yourself. Like it was a thing that people had to go look up in your past and they found it. Then now you're taking steps to make amends. So like if someone does something racist and then they donate to like an organization or something like that after everyone like finds out about it. The donation is good, but I'm still going to keep in context that you only made the donation once you were caught.
But
So
I feel like, what
in
if
certain
they've already
situations like
been
that-
rectifying
Yeah, like,
things
what if their whole
since
life
that
is-
thing happened,
If it
but
is
you
that
just
cool-
now figured out about that thing today?
That which it
And
looks
it's like,
it
I'm
is that
already a
cool.
different person, and you're
Yeah,
bringing up my past.
if
I
I'm-
understand why the person would be
Sure.
mad in that context. Like,
Exactly.
Sure,
why are you
all-
bringing up my
all
history?
Yeah.
All I'm acknowledging is that there's a shitload of people who lie about that, and it's super easy for them to go,
But
"Oh yeah, but I've changed," and they actually
But
haven't.
who's
So
able to
still
be the
look up to
judge
them.
of the person
that's
and
what
be
I'm-
like,
a lot of
oh,
people-
you're
no, no,
not?
but I'm saying-
But I don't think that they're right
But
in
that's-
that
but
though.
that's
I
what
feel
I'm saying.
like
I
that's
think
easy to judge.
I think that no one was
I
there
don't-
and watching him become a better person.
Yes,
It's just him. It's
But
Let's
the
turn the mics
actions,
down a little
but
bit,
the
too.
actions that you take in real life
My
have
mic's up there.
records. There's always receipts for things that
But
you
I do-
in so you can go. So for example, you can go back and ask the victim, hey, did they do anything since then, or has it just been all quiet? And now, since the whole thing popped off, they did something. If they say yeah, that's not too much digging. Stuff like if they just deleted the tweet when it popped off, that's not hard to find.
But no,
I
but
feel
it's like
you
this.
can find
Okay,
receipts
but
and
people,
stuff.
no,
but
but it's no. But I
I'm
think
saying
all that
I'm
stuff
saying
is-
further than that.
But I'm
I
saying
feel like
like
they
this.
could have grown as a person.
Exactly.
And it's like you
Say-
you haven't been watching them grow, and then you're gonna make this assessment of
Of
them
them
at
in their
13
past.
or at whatever age they were when
Exactly.
they did that thing, or
From what
whatever
they are
mental
now.
state they were in when they did that
Exactly.
thing.
Like I know probably I got some tweets where I got on Twitter in 2009. I didn't even want to get on Twitter. But when I got on Twitter, my first thing my mom would say was like, watch what you say, watch what you do, watch what you say, because everything stays on the internet forever. So watch what you do. And I'm still sure I got some stuff on there that probably now people are going to find problematic. But when I tweeted it, I didn't care. Or it was fine or whatever. I remember I'm on there bashing Tommy the Clown. Like me and the homies is over there clowning Tommy the Clown. I'm pretty sure somebody now would be like, he's over here
You can't do
defacing
that.
a city, blah, blah, blah. He was a blah, blah, blah to the
They'll
city.
send
a
it.
staple
They'll
of it.
post him and
Yeah.
tag him in it, and then he'll
remember
talk to
this,
you.
yeah, be like, yeah, this, yeah, he was a young man, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna apologize for that. I was a young kid, it was funny, and at the same time, it was like we weren't talking about Tommy we were talking about Tommy, but we weren't talking to Tommy the Clown. It was me and somebody else having a discussion, and I was like, hey, bro, you need to hit on so and so, and the dude was like, man, what do I look like, Tommy the Clown? And then Tommy the Clown searched up his name, like, on the search your Google name, blah, 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 and saw somebody said Tommy the Clown and then responded to it. And we're like, bro, we get it that we're using your name in a joke, but you got way too much time on your hand to be responding to children like this when we're not talking about you in like a major way, And so everybody started going in and clowning him, blah, blah, blah. We hate Tommy the Clown. So,
I remember this.
You remember this? So, yeah. So when this pops back up, everybody's like, yeah, you were,
Leave Thomas
yeah,
alone
yeah,
was
you
the
were,
trending hashtag.
yeah, you were bullying Tommy the Clown. Like, no, we weren't bullying Tommy the Clown. We were over here roasting him and that's part of black culture, roast culture, because I didn't feel like he should have jumped in a conversation that we weren't talking to him about.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to roast you. Now, when they bring it up now, do you want to apologize to Tommy the Clown? No, I don't. Will I talk to Tommy the Clown? Do we want to, like, you know, joke
It
and
was
all
a
that?
joke. It
Yeah.
was a joke.
Could I meet Tommy the Clown and we talk and be
Vibe?
boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we could talk. Am I going to apologize? No.
No.
I have
No.
one, but I have one big objection over that. Though. I feel like if a person now heard the story, if they came in and they went, you know what? I hear everything that you did. I hear that it was 20 some years ago or whatever. I'm still not cool with the way that you have that stance and that thing. So I now choose not to like
associate with me and none of that.
That's fine. That's your right.
Cool.
That's totally
That's perfectly fine.
Just the same as it's my right to apologize and be like,
Right.
you know, I apologize for what I did when I was younger. I was younger.
I was a
you
kid.
know.
Now again,
But at the same time, it's like I did what I did. You know, it
now
was
again,
a younger me.
the only thing that I'm saying is that happens a lot where it's that situation where people just go, you know what, I'm not fucking with you. Or the extension of it happens, which is that people have a position that's really very much based off of ratings, like a TV host position, something like that.
Yeah.
So then
The
a
people that-
large swath of
Influencers.
people make that decision if they don't fuck with that person.
And we
So
can't
then their
sponsor you no
ratings
more.
dip. Yeah, so then the company is like, sorry, you're controversial. We're gonna have to cut you, and then the person feels entitled to their
apologize.
job,
Yeah.
and then they're like, well, I shouldn't, or the job is being taken away from me because of this thing, and I'm kind of like, I don't think that's being taken. I feel like they lost their job because they were no longer popular.
No,
I
that's
feel like we're
absolutely
talking
true.
about a
In-
different
like in
situation.
that-
though. We're talking
no.
about a
Exactly.
person.
Yeah,
You're talking about
exactly. We
person,
definitely
and
are.
you're throwing in a job. So
No, but that
when you
this
throw
don't
in the
matter.
job,
But that's a part of cancel.
when you throw in the job, I will use a different strategy for that, and I will be more apologetic if you want to keep the
This
job.
is my thing. Even though I do not support what he said, and if I ever meet him, I would beat his ass. The dude that said what he said about Kobe, that made the jokes about Kobe, and he says, I do this every time every celebrity dies. I make jokes, inappropriate jokes
you're
about
talking
them.
about what's the name?
Adam Safir.
Yeah.
What is that his name?
Yeah. It's something like that.
Something Safir. Whatever his
Safir.
name is, even though I would beat his ass for what he said, I am going
wouldn't.
to.
Like, you can say whatever you want.
No,
bro.
I will definitely respect
It's
the fact that
America.
he did not apologize for it at all. Like when reading his whole little spiel
You have
about
the
it,
right to
he was
say
like, "Look,
whatever
I
you
do
want.
this to everybody. I do this to my best friend when my best friend died. I did this to such and such. I get it. Everybody's mad. I understand that, but I'm not gonna apologize because this is my style of comedy."
I gotta say, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I really don't find that is like I really don't find people being unwilling to apologize as a sign of strength.
No, it's
I
not
think
strength. It's just it's not about being strong. It's about sticking to. Everybody's gonna be different. I'm gonna do something that offends somebody at some point.
Yeah.
But what I'm not gonna do is try to adjust my lifestyle
It's like once
to
you
appease
start
everybody.
apologizing, you gotta
Exactly.
apologize about
Every single
everything.
thing
You
that
gotta
somebody's
run back
not
down the list.
And I'm not doing that.
Of
I'm not gonna do that. I refuse.
Offensive things you did.
If I say something that offends you, I cannot apologize for how you feel.
Yes.
I cannot be like, oh well, I'm sorry that you feel bad, because
Well,
that's how
I
you
feel.
feel.
Like you can though. If
No.
they're genuinely upset and you are like, and you want to salvage the relationship between you and that person,
If I
you
did,
can apologize and be like,
Right.
you know what? If that offended you, I'm sorry.
that I see,
You
but I'm
know.
not doing that on a global
But you
scale.
can't
I'm
do
not
that
apologizing
for every
I'm
offensive
not apologizing
thing that
to
you do.
7 million people, 7 million people, or billion people, whatever is in the United States, and whatever amount of people is worldwide. 6 billion people
It's not
worldwide.
like you gotta apologize 7 million times.
If doing it once, I'm not doing it, because then I got to do it for every group, every culture, every race, every gender or non-gender, whatever you want to say, every binary, blah blah blah. Whatever. I got to do it for everybody. I'm sorry to the black people for what I said. All the times I said nigga. I'm sorry for white people for saying that. I feel like black people play better basketball. I'm sorry for the gay culture for laughing at my gay friend when he said he likes to suck dick. I'm sorry for the transgender when I cause so and so look like a man. I'm sorry for the. I'm not. I'm a comical person. I find inappropriate shit funny all the time. All the time. Not even stuff I say. Stuff other people say. Most of my favorite comedians are offensive comedians. So I'm not about to sit there and be like, I'm sorry for the... Because honestly, I'm not. I'm not. I thought it was funny. Now, when I'm genuinely sorry, I will apologize. But one thing I will not do is run the media circuit. I'm sorry to the chess playing community for when I said Shorty looked like a rook.
I feel like
Oh.
it all
I
depends on your
definitely
brand.
don't
What type
support
of brand do
giving-
you have? If your brand is squeaky clean, then you have to be.
I don't want a squeaky
and
clean
you have
brand.
to apologize for certain things. But if you run like a Bill Burr offensive, I don't
I'm
care
cool.
what people think
I'm cool with
brand,
that.
then you can be like that.
I'm
Yeah, I
cool with
definitely don't support fake apologies.
No.
So yeah, if
That's
you're
what I'm
just
saying.
gonna
For me,
give-
'cause
yeah, like a BS
my thing-
apology and
any
go right
apology you
into
get from me, for the most part, will be very fake. Unless I apologize to a person personally. Hey, I talked about your mom, and in the moment I thought it was funny, and now going back on it, I see how that wasn't funny. I apologize to you. I'm sorry to you. I'm not about to go
No, I
on the
feel like
media
you
and be
could
like,
be
I talked
genuine.
about Jason's
You
mom.
can be genuine in the media and apologize.
I mean,
You could be
I
like,
feel like
I
you
am
can be
sorry
genuine,
for what I did in those previous.
but I feel like
days.
I'm not gonna get to that point where I feel like
But I feel like it has to be something that's like
I'm not
it
doing
was
it.
wrong what you did. you
I'd
know?
have to
That
like
was wrong.
I feel like the one thing I might apologize for publicly is if I like physically hurt somebody that is not at my equal strength, like a child, somebody
like-
that's elderly.
Like if he made that that joke about Kobe, and it's a joke to him, he's just having fun.
Mhm.
But Kobe's family hits him up and says that was offensive to us that
Mhm.
you said that about our dad.
Mhm.
In that situation, my opinion, it would be that he should apologize to
To
them and
them.
be like, "I'm
I
sorry, I did not
apologize.
mean to offend you.
This
It
is
was-
my style of
this is
comedy,
my
but
style
I
of
get how this
comedy.
hurts
This is
you.
what my fans
Mhm.
expect from me.
Exactly.
I am sorry."
But to his fans and to the people on his, I expected him to do exactly what he did. I'm not apologizing. This is my style of comedy. If you do not find this funny, I don't know what to tell you. Don't come on my Instagram because I do this every time somebody dies. I crack an inappropriate joke. So if I apologize for now because it's Kobe, I got to apologize to everybody I offended in the past. And this is my style. This dude also does jokes where he talks about niggers and like mad racist jokes and shit that's not funny. That's what I'm saying. Like if I met him, I beat his ass. And that's just part of the consequence of his lifestyle. But I support his right not to apologize because that's his artwork. If somebody I'm offended by the color brown, are you all of a sudden not about to use the color brown in
Well, I
any of
think
your
people-
paintings?
I think people should always have the right not to apologize. That's like a freedom of speech thing. I would.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any situation in which I would think someone should be forced to apologize.
But that's what I feel like cancel culture is. Cancel culture is pressing somebody to be chastised or rectify a mistake at any moment of their life, past, present, or future, right? So I hung out with somebody at one point that was a rapist, and we took a picture together. And
But I didn't know he was
I
a
didn't know.
a rapist.
But now this picture surfaces 10, 20 years later, and now they think this
Now
is
I'm
my
losing
homeboy.
jobs.
Now I'm losing my job because I tweeted this nigga twice, responding to what he said. Hey, haha, that was funny. But I didn't know he was a rapist. Now I'm getting canceled, and now I gotta go on news. I'm sorry, I didn't know, and I don't associate with him anymore. I apologize. No, I'm not about to apologize for knowing somebody that did something stupid. Get him to apologize. I'm not about to apologize. I took a picture with dude. I didn't know he was a rapist at the time. We had a good time. Me and him chuckled, laughed, and all that. For a rapist, he's very funny.
Okay, so
Do I like his character?
sympathize-
No.
I
Will I hang out with
sympathize
him
with
again? No.
I sympathize for this, like for the person who is in that situation, and in some ways, I'm kind of like, this is like, what the fuck else did we think we were going to get in America, except a bunch of people who realize that they can leverage the entire capitalistic situation in which you're in which you
won't be famous no more.
Yeah, you're not going to be famous anymore. We have your paycheck. We have your job by the throat, which in some ways I really do like that. I want people to be able to be removed from jobs and removed from positions in which they can hurt people and stuff like that. So I like that, but at the same time, you just got to think about the reality of the situation that you still have. You're giving yourself that power to remove people. You can abuse that. Then a mob can abuse that, and then like in the case of like Robert Downey Jr., where people have such a short-term memory and things can be removed from their context so easily, and people really just culturally are so okay with just removing things from their context.
What do you mean by Robert Downey Jr.?
So Robert Downey Jr. When he did
Big Coke.
Tropic Thunder, and he played a character that
Was black, did blackface.
he played a white guy that wore blackface. But the
Yeah.
point of the movie was
I think
to
he's
show
making fun
the
of
absurdity
yes
of
of a
how
person who
dumb
will
it
be
is
willing
that,
to do
exactly,
that.
that a white guy was thinking
At
like,
one
oh,
point.
I can just come in and do whatever I want because I'm an
Yes.
actor.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's funny that an actor is
Yes.
showing that. It's
Yes.
like
And they had a
it's-
black dude in there to
Right.
show his
Yes,
anger
and
and
he cracked
frustration.
It's the
on it,
height
yes.
of satire.
Yes.
But satire
Yes.
requires you
And-
to understand context.
And
It
niggas-
requires
Sophistication.
complexity.
And niggas
Yes.
was
And
still
that-
trying to cancel him for that. Like, why
Right.
you take the role? You should have. No, that movie was still gonna get made whether he took the role or not.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, people already had a problem with complexity, but then the internet just exacerbates that problem.
Mhm.
So then now you can
Exacerbate.
You know what I'm
I
doing tonight. Anyway.
exacerbated all over. No.
Anywho, but I feel like there are people who are
Master
leveraging
debater.
that. So that's why I think if you were at a certain level, you can survive being canceled, because really what's happening
Yep.
is that you have a small vocal minority of your fan bases. And it's a smaller proportion the bigger you are. So, 10% of people are going to be outraged, but maybe
I agree.
90% are going to fuck with you. So the larger,
okay.
I feel like at a certain level, it becomes a wave
that
that just propels you as well, like Kanye West. Like,
Yes.
you try to cancel him, but you just giving him more publicity.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
You only
Kanye.
radicalize his followers.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, you keep trying to cancel.
Bring news
as-
that
Almost like just a group in which we get together. So
Mhm.
if we're doing something that if I'm like running a class to like benefit society, let's say if I'm like teaching a martial arts class, but then I'm like, I also want to teach men about consent or something like that. And then Jake Paul comes to the class and I don't know him. He's done some stuff in the past, but shit ain't got nothing to do with me. Should I then shun him like, no,
No.
I heard that
No.
you did some
Exactly.
stuff. No. I feel like he should
But
be
what
brought
if
into the
some of
fold
your
to
students come to you and tell you that he's done those things and they don't like him and they want you to put him out, or they want you to disown him?
No.
What do you do in that situation?
then for me the question would be how close is their relationship to Jake Paul? If they
And
have
his
as
victims.
much, if they have as much connection to him as I do, which is near
What if it's like,
none,
oh, my cousin committed suicide and he made fun of people who could commit suicide or whatever? I'm offended by his
You know what
presence.
I would do? I would have Jake Paul come to the class, sit down, and talk to everybody in the class. I'd be like, anybody got questions for him? Now's the time.
What if they're like,
And if you want to be in my
in
class,
that
Jake, you better sit here and answer every
In
question.
that case, I would actually probably do something and not let him like join a class or stuff like that. Because
If majority of the class said it,
someone's cousin committing suicide, that's really fucking important to them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a person who is connected. They may not know him at all, but they're connected with the issue of him. So I wouldn't ignore that. But if it's a bunch of guys, who are like really like me, where I don't know him, nor do I watch his shit, so I don't care.
I understand he's offensive. I'm just not gonna talk to him unless I absolutely need to. And then in that case, I'm gonna just let him know, like, hey, bro, I really don't rock with you like that. So if you need something, I got you. But other than that, we're not homies. Like, don't talk to me like we bros. Like we don't. People, I don't know. This might just be me, but people know when people don't mesh. Like when we don't mesh, they pretty much know like when I don't fuck with them. And like very few people keep trying to talk to me after that. So I don't know if it's just me because I just don't care. If he were to walk into a class with me and I was like, oh, that's Jake Paul, I wouldn't be so offended. Like, I'm not in this class anymore if he's not in here. I'm just not talking to this dude. Like, you know, if he came, hey, what's up, bro? I'm Jake. Spot. Nice to meet you, bro. Okay.
I feel like that's a reasonable response, but cancel culture
It's
isn't
so like
always
I don't want
reasonable.
nobody.
It's
I don't
just
want
like he
anybody.
has to go now.
I want a
because
scarlet.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I want a scarlet letter on him and anybody that associates with him or
he
is
shouldn't
in
be
around
allowed
the
in
room.
any dojo because of what
Exactly.
he did.
So
know?
that's what I'm saying, and that's
I'm like, I don't
unrealistic.
know if I agree
we might as
with
well
that.
we might as well throw him in the electric chair.
Dojo, man. I don't know if I would say any. I would say any dojo
There should be
that has
for
people
all
that
Jake
are
Pauls.
unaffected. Any dojo that has people that are like not seriously affected by what he did, but if they're seriously affected, they should be able to go. I don't really want this person here, or at least
I feel like because of the power of the internet, because of the power of the internet, they can just get on the internet and be like, everybody. Exclude this person.
Somebody is
then,
gonna every dojo you're going to. Somebody's gonna be there. Like, I don't want to be here if he's not here because of this reason.
There's gonna be at least
There's
one.
gonna be because he's done so much already. There's gonna be at least one. So he's never gonna get the rehabilitation that he needs. So at some point, somebody's gonna have to be like, I don't care, because if he doesn't get this help, he's never gonna receive this, and he's also gonna shun people, a part of this culture, when he gets around them, because like when I wanted help, they shunned me away. When I wanted to go to church and pray about it, all the Christians said they wouldn't come back to church if I was there. So I hate Christians now. Every time I wanted to go to, the black dojo, all the black people said, no, get out, white boy. So now I hate black people because they shunned me. So
I don't know. I guess I almost, maybe I'm a bit too optimistic, but I kind of feel like when you say that, I'm just like, would really like no one let this person join? Like when we think about like small churches that let people in that have like murdered people before, those people are able to find a place again, like a small place in society.
But I feel like cancel culture is so like everybody's forcing everybody to make the same choice. So if I don't like KO, you better not like KO either, or else I don't like you. Exactly.
No, you're very right about that.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't appreciate that, because now these people, like KO said, these people still have to go and live their everyday lives after they've made this mistake.
Right.
I do believe they need to be chastised,
reprimanded,
especially if it's immediate. For stuff in the past, I'm always kind of skeptical for it. Especially like 10, 20, whatever years in the past, because I'm always like, that was a long time ago. I don't feel like the world needs to know about that. I feel like they need to go apologize to that person.
I also feel like context is a big thing as well. I feel like
you're hitting the nail on the head, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like I feel like you shouldn't be pressured to ostracize your KO and not associate with KO if he's done something, especially if the reason why you're associating with him doesn't have to do with the wrong thing that he did. It's like, if you're not fucking with him because he did something wrong, it's just some other stuff, a regular relationship.
Yep.
I don't feel like there's any true like long term in a society. I just don't feel more safe with myself and my kids going into the future, knowing that he doesn't have a societal home or place.
Yeah.
He's just, bouncing around. No one fucking, accepts him or anything like that. If you got nothing to do with it, like, leave those people alone and then let those people reintegrate them into society.
Exactly.
And hopefully not become
like Michael Vick
people.
Now everybody's on, always, no matter what Michael Vick does, they always bring up the dogs every single time. He could cure cancer and AIDS in the same day, and they will still bring up the dogs. Michael Vick, who was convicted of dog fights in his house, cures cancer and AIDS. So at what point do we stop mentioning that? Because he has definitely served his time. He actually served jail time, probation, lost all his endorsements, all his money, everything. So if we're talking about got chastised, he got chastised. So when do we stop bringing that up?
I feel like it's all right that they bring it up because it's like it's part of your permanent history or whatever. So you can bring it up. It's just that you have to also say in that same sentence that he's made amends and
But they
he
don't.
did the jail time.
But that's what I'm saying. They never do that. Like, so it's like, for the most part, they never, like, Michael Vick, who has served his time they always just bring it up and then leave it there and drop it because they want to bring up the drama, they want to bring up the spice. Did the same thing for Kobe Bryant. Every time he does something, they're always a group of mostly women that bring up his rape case. I don't like Kobe because of the rape, blah, 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 and I don't like him. And I'm like, I understand that.
That's understandable.
I understand it, but at the same time, one, he was acquitted, or he settled, but at the same time, it was like one of those where it was like, she didn't have enough evidence. He just wanted to get over with and get back to the playoffs. So he's like, look, you're not going to get the results you want. I want to be over this. Let's settle.
But I feel like if in my young age I slapped the taste out of a Hispanic person and it got on social media and everybody found out about it and I lost a lot of Hispanic friends, I can understand that.
But wait,
it's
what
like
if since
I
that time,
understand that the history of my history is leading you to think that.
But what if at the time you slapped the taste
it's up
out of
to
somebody's
me
mouth
to repair my image?
But no, I'm saying, okay, at the time, let's say you're 17. You slap the taste out of somebody's mouth, this Latino lady.
That's me.
And that's
I
you
did
at
that.
17. So now,
I gotta wear that.
Since then,
Yeah.
you've been, one, convicted of the crime, you've done jail time, you sat in jail for that time,
Yeah.
and you've gotten out. So you actually
None
served
of
your
those
time.
things disqualify the fact that I slapped the taste
But
out
hold
of
on.
somebody's mouth.
Even then, after that, you found that lady, you rectified. Hey, look, ma'am, I apologize. This, that, and that. You even gave her a little bit of money.
Mhm.
This, that, and I really apologize. This is not my character. This is why I did that. Da, da, da.
Yes.
And you guys make amends.
Yes.
10, 20 years pass, right? Now you blow up and you're a superstar because you're in a movie. And somebody says, hey, I remember when he was 17, he slapped the taste out of this old lady. And now you're losing all your Latin fans, even though you have
It's
Latin
gonna sound
friends.
like I'm flip flopping right now, but I do think that even those years later, you still have to wear the fact that you did what you did.
It is up to the Latin fans to make the decision in that moment.
Yes.
And that's why I think people just need to be more forthcoming.
But that's what I'm
about
saying.
stuff like
That decision, I think it comes
I don't
from.
know. I don't think they have to be more forthcoming.
No.
It's just when it is brought up, just don't be arrogant about how you address it. Just
No.
be like,
I'm not talking
that
about
was
arrogant.
me when I was young.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But no,
for
I'm not.
his actions.
I'm not.
But I am not
I
him
would
any
prefer
longer.
it
I'm
to
not
be
that
way.
person.
I would prefer it to be that way, but I think that since people are so, frankly, kind of dumb and they remove things from the context that they have and they're so unforgiving about stuff, I feel like tactically you have to be forthcoming from the jump. And I feel like that's
I feel
why
like the
people
internet
overshare
portrays
on
people
social
in
media.
that way, but
Mhm.
people in person are different. Like
No,
if you put that person in the same room as the person who they have those animus feelings about, it will be totally different.
That's what I'm saying. Because I feel like a lot of cancel culture is driven by the internet.
Yes.
And then I also just
It's because
feel
it's
like
a screen and you get the keyboard and you're just like, man,
I feel like
fuck him, or
exactly, and I
whatever.
feel like most of these people feel like these celebrities and public officials
I'm never going to see them.
owe them a personal apology, and they don't. Like when Jason Trudeau, that stuff came out about him and he doing the blackface. Was I disappointed because Jason Trudeau is my dude? Of course I was disappointed. Do I think he should have resigned? No, because he's doing great shit for Canada. So I think he should stay in office and still do the great stuff he's doing. Did he apologize?
Justin Trudeau.
Justin, yeah, I said Jason. That's the wine kicking in.
A lot of people who I follow on YouTube do not like him. They feel like he's childish.
Yeah, I mean, he's young. He's a young dude, and he's just kind of like,
I
look.
kind of don't like him because he's a liberal, but that's just me.
Goes conservative vibe
A
over
lot
here.
of my
I don't care. I'm not
internet.
liberal or conservative.
Whoa.
I'm just.
We're far to the left here, buddy.
I don't care. I'm an
I feel
East
like
Sider.
Rob's progressive. Rob's pretty progressive.
I'm an East Sider. I don't care. I asked the homie, I'm like, hey, bro, you a BMI or ASCAP? He was like, nigga, I'm a Crip. I don't know what you talking about. was like, bro, this is a music term. Who's paying you? Be my ass cat.
Bro, the way I like to put it, I'm so far left, you get your guns back. That's how far left I am, bro.
But Jason's there I go again. Justin Trudeau, like after his stuff came out, and I was like, all right, I'm disappointed because of the blackface, but at the same time, I feel like as far as politicians go, I kind of rock with what you do. Like I kind of rock with you as a person, so that's cool. You know, like I'm disappointed in you, but I don't feel like you should lose your job over something that you did years ago in college. And he came back and he apologized and everything. But like for me, if it was me and I'm like, hey, look, when that happened, I apologize to the person I offended. You know, personally. Like I probably would be something like blackface, but like if something happened, I slapped the taste out of some dude, some Asian dude, and you know, I was like, hey, look, when that happened, I apologize to the dude I slapped. I do not owe everybody in the Asian community an apology because this wasn't a racially motivated issue. This was a I didn't like this dude issue.
But I feel like it kind of behooves you not to say that and to just say
it does.
If I have offended people in the Asian community, I genuinely apologize for that.
I cannot do
that. I was out of character in that moment, and I lost control, and I slapped the shit out of Wu Yang.
My soul won't let me do that. Cause look, I apologize
if you want to
him.
Save your monetary value and not lose that portion of people who you could be advertising to.
I'm cool.
And
it just helps you just to apologize.
You know what I would do?
I said, sure, you can have those great interactions with people on a person-to-person level. Yeah. But it's the advertising exec that's going to drop you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But that's
it
what I'm
helps
saying.
you to apologize.
If I start building or if anybody, not just me, if anybody starts building their reputation of I don't care now, I feel like that, like Dave Chappelle. That's why I feel
you just
like
have to come out of the gates with
like
that type
I don't
of
care.
mentality,
I don't care. I'm gonna say whatever.
You have to understand that even that mentality has consequences to it. Let's go till 9:30.
So I literally.
Y'all with that?
Yeah.
9:30.
Yep.
All right.
So I feel like for me, it's like if you're kind of in the area of this was a while ago. I already apologized for it. I already did my time. I understand it's going to come up again, but I'm not going to apologize every time this comes up. I'm not going to do it. I would respect that. I'm like, did you apologize in the past? Yeah. Have you rectified your mistake? Yeah. Do I see signs that you really are sorry, not you're just saying it? Yeah. Cool. I don't care no more. You know, we can move forward. You're an adult. You've grown. This was so long in the past. I don't expect an apology.
Like either way, there's going to be some people that hate you for what you did.
That's fine.
But it behooves you to apologize so that when new people who are learning about you see you and they hear about the history of what you did, they also see the apology and genuine reflecting on what you did in the apology, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I like this guy because he is flawed, but I'm watching him apologize instead of seeing you be like, man, I don't give I did what I did, but I don't care about that.
No. I feel like if I make a genuine mistake and I'm on here just like splurting out racial slur after racial slur on the Asian community, right? Just like, and then Asians can't, and then Asians blah, 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 blah. And it's not even in a joking manner. It's just me just spewing just hate.
Like you're changing the equation.
No.
We were talking about like a slap or like an assault after you're younger.
But that's what I'm saying. Even then, so if I'm not adding a racial context to it, if I'm just if me and the Asian dude got into it and me and him fought, and now the whole Asian community is mad because me and the Asian dude fought, I'm like, I'm not apologizing to the whole Asian community. I didn't fight this dude because it was a racial motivated event. I'm fighting this dude because he pissed me off. He spilled a drink on me. He was acting like an asshole. There was no racial slurs exchanged. I was beating his ass.
That's why I said earlier, context.
Exactly. So there was
a lot.
So I'm not apologizing to everybody in the. I know the Asian. The Asian community took this and ran with it.
The situation I had in my mind was that the guy was in the green, or he was a good person, or he was just minding his own business, and you were drunk or whatever, like Mark Wahlberg probably was or whatever, and you slapped the shit out of him and you knocked one of his eyes out or something on accident.
So that's what I'm saying. In his case, you can kind of argue, hey, look. You need to apologize, bro.
But if the guy's being an ass, that changes the equation and make it to where your actions are kind of justified.
I'm not even saying,
like, oh, you were defending yourself.
But not even if he's being an ass. I'm just saying if it wasn't motivated on something that's not personal. Like, look, this dude spilled the drink on me, so I beat his ass.
Mhm.
Or I did something. I stepped on his toe, and the way he reacted made me snap, so I beat him up, or we got into a fight. That's one thing. Versus saying this dude spilled the drink on me, and I called him a nigger, and I beat his ass. Then you gotta, hey, me saying that was offensive. I shouldn't have said that. My apologies. But if it's just, this dude stepped on my toe, and I got mad, I said, yo, bro, watch the fuck out, and smacked the hell out of him, and we started fighting. I'm not apologizing to all of America for that. I'm not apologizing to the whole whoever, if it's the Mexican dude. I'm not apologizing to the whole Mexican community because I got into a fight. No, I apologize to that person.
You can have that stance, but you have to live with the consequences of the ad agencies dropping your contract and other people choosing not to do business with
that
you.
one.
But if you want to salvage those relationships, it will behoove you to just
that
be
is
like,
the word of the day.
I apologize, and I genuinely am sorry for what I did that day.
I can't do that because at that point, it wouldn't be genuine for me. Like, if I already apologized, say I smacked Rob for whatever, and all the people in the lock community started getting mad at me, right? And they're like, we're not supporting Spot because him and Rob got into a fight. We're not going to listen to his music anymore because him and Rob got into a fight. And me and Rob are now cool, and we straightened everything out, and I apologize. I've been over his house now and all that stuff. I would go on the news, and they'd be like, so we heard that you slapped local lock favorite Robert Evans, and we just wanted to know, what do you have to say about that? Absolutely nothing. I've already talked to Rob.
He is a representative of people with locks.
I get it.
But they can be offended by something you did to one of their representatives.
I get it. But at that point.
It's just like black people being offended that the cop kneeled on the guy's neck for so long.
I get that. And
it's like, that's one of us. We're literally looking at a version of us being killed.
But the reason why is because that was racially driven. If me and Rob, so why did you, Rob, get into a fight? Because Rob called me Rudy Poo Candy Ass, and I don't play that. So we fought. And then they would be like, oh, so the dread community was very offended. I'm like, it had nothing to do with his locks. It had nothing to do with his dread. So I don't get why they're very upset. It had to do with the
equation I'm talking about is if it's not justified, your actions against Rob.
Okay, not even that. So, like,
if Rob has done something that allows you to be kind of justified in your actions,
no, I'll give you this. I'll give you this. If it was I was drunk, I walked in, I was being very aggressive, and me and Rob got into a scrimmage. And there was nothing said about his locks. There was nothing said about his dreads, whatever.
Yeah.
So there was nothing said about his hairstyle. Me and him just got into a scuffle because I was too drunk and got too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not apologizing to the world for that. I've already apologized to Rob.
Yes.
Me and Rob have already rectified that. Me and Rob have
I don't think you should have to apologize, but I do think that
it would behoove.
It's in their rights of the lock community to see the footage of that and be offended and choose not to spend money on any product you're involved with and cause people to turn their backs on you.
I would accept it. I would be very upset with the lock community because I'm like, look, this wasn't a lock motivated, this wasn't a hair related incident. This was just an alcohol fueled fight.
But that's not how the mob works. If
they
just see the footage, or if they just hear the report of what you did, that's what they're running on.
Yeah, and I'm like, you guys don't understand the context. I could sit here and explain it to you, but the way the internet works, you guys are not about to listen to it. Or I would do. I'm like, look, I'll explain this to people one time. This had nothing to do with his hair. This had nothing to do with that, and that's why I'm not apologizing to the lock community, because it had nothing to do with the lock.
I apologized before. I'll apologize again. I am sorry to anybody who was offended by my actions, especially Rob.
That's
because, we had a beef.
That's where you lost me. I'd be like, look, I apologize to Rob if you're watching again, because I've already apologized. Me and him are already cool. Everybody else, I don't know what to tell you. Me and you guys didn't fight, so I don't get why you guys are offended.
See, and I'm okay with that because as far as I'm concerned, as long as celebrity has existed, as long as, well, maybe not celebrity, but as long as like
popularity,
television and TV cameras and like Hollywood has existed, and like in America, people have been canceled since day one. And like Jackie Robinson, people wanted to cancel Jackie Robinson from playing baseball.
Exactly.
But the thing that gets me is that when it was happening back then, it wasn't called cancel culture. When the right wing did it, when the like cultural mainstream did it, it's not called cancel culture. It's just the way that people maintain the illusion
Keeping
of
America great again.
Yeah, of the homogeny.
I feel like
But
there's
then-
righteous cancel culture though, and there's like cancel culture that's just mob mentality.
I personally think that that's just that all that is cancel culture with a certain moral inclination. So it's cancel culture so people will go like, oh,
If a
it's like,
person's canceled because they rape children, it's like, okay, he should be canceled. But if a person is canceled because of a video of them doing something, but nobody has the context of what happened before the video, it's like, okay, y'all just reading the headline and being offended about the headline and not reading the whole article to see what happened.
Well, I feel
like,
that's still a moral reaction. It's just it's kind of a dumb moral reaction. They're not looking at the entire context. So I feel like the problem is more that they had a righteous inclination, which is fine to me. You know, do things that you feel like are good, but make sure you're thorough. Make sure you're actually looking at everything and not just taking stuff out of context. Because like in the case of Robert Downey Jr., they're trying to cancel something that so perfectly shows the problem with the thing that they're talking about. So the thing's doing good work to try and stop the very thing that they're complaining about. That's what's so dumb about it. And so then they end up negatively affecting the cause instead of positively affecting it. But sorry, I kind of lost my last little point about that. Well, I think I'm really willing to die on this hill that in the 40s, in the 30s, people were getting canceled. It just wasn't called cancel culture. Now the left does it. Now more the countercultures and subcultures
ostracization.
Exactly. So now you can get canceled over offending the goth people. You know, when before you didn't have to think about them. You're just like, look, as long as the mainstream people fuck with me, I'm good. And now that mainstream isn't really so mainstream. It's just it's kind of like one of the niches.
But that's what I'm saying.
So
like
everyone's subjective.
If I offend the goth community, non-goth people are like, I'm not listening to them anymore because I want to be included, and I think you should be nice to everyone. No, at some time somebody's gonna be offended. Right. So for me, I feel like for me, if I know that at some point,
if you're targeting the goth community in your apology, it's kind of like it goes to everyone by extension.
No,
like, I am sorry for my actions, and that, you know, and especially towards that community, and that's all it needs to be. You don't need to be like, and by saying to anyone who is offended by these actions, you're covering the whole swath of people.
I'll let you know if I ever issue any kind of public apology ever in my life. Know that I mean it because I did not want to give that shit. Ever. Everybody was like, you should apologize. I'm like, no, I'm not. You should apologize. I'm not going to apologize. So if I do apologize, know that I mean it. And know that I will not be apologizing for how you feel. I am apologizing to the people that I have actually affected. So if you are not a part of that community, that apology.
All I would say is I do think it does kind of broad, like it makes a broad swath and kind of statement towards an entire group, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with offending different groups. I don't think that people have a right to not be offended. So, you know,
you're going to get offended.
You can talk your shit, but I just don't want people to be forced to like maintain like a certain
a PC image.
I can talk my shit, but you don't have to.
But there's a line that if crossed, it's like, okay, you slapped the shit out of that old Asian man or whatever. You did that. Like there's footage of you doing that.
But then what point does it become he slapped an old man versus an old Asian man? So like, okay,
if
was
he's
it racially
also
driven?
Asian, we're not just one thing at a time. We're a multiplicity of things.
But that's what I'm saying.
To the person who is offended to interpret it.
That's what I'm saying. When is it like, oh, he slapped an old man because the old man tried to walk up on stage versus he slapped an old Asian man because the old Asian man tried to come on stage. So now it's like putting extras on it. Like, no, I didn't slap him because he was Asian. Now I gotta apologize to every single Asian because they feel like I slapped them personally.
Context means a lot, but your actions should be appropriate to the situation. If he's just coming up on stage, you should not have slapped the shit out of him. Yeah. And if the Asian community is mad at you for doing that, they're within their rights to
They're within
not
their
support
rights.
you
and
anymore.
maybe they're ascribing the wrong motivations.
They're
You
within
know,
their right, but in that type of case,
people
I
do
wouldn't
that all the-
apologize.
Yeah, people do that all the time. So that's why I'm okay with people not apologizing.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that I feel like people should be able to exercise their choice. If they
No,
want to make a
I feel like
dumb decision
Mhm.
and say, oh yeah, you're associated with something that you're not, they should be able to make that decision and then not
Mhm.
like pay for your movie thing.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
to
I don't
watch
feel
you do
like
that dumb
anybody
shit.
should be
That's-
forced to support people that they don't like. Just like I don't support Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I don't support Lil Pump. I don't support any of those, people that I just don't. I don't support 6ix9ine
Yeah, see,
because
I'm
this
glad
dude's-
we're on the same page about that because I swear to you, that is the shit that people fucking lie about. They they will have jobs that are like super based in just like people liking them, and then people stop liking them, and then they will have this entitled ass like feeling of like
I gotta
what-
apologize.
you-
What's wrong?
You took the show from you took the lead character from. It's like no, my
I will.
God,
I
you
will
lost the
understand.
lead
Yeah,
character.
I will understand. Like, hey, you're not popular no more. We can't really use you because of what you did. I understand that. I get that. I understand. Having to apologize to people that you offend and having to be chastised for recent actions. I'm not really cool with the whole stuff of the past. That's always rocky for me. If people have shown remorse and repents, which means you change, you don't do that behavior anymore.
Yes.
So if people have repented, then I'm like, okay, what you've done in the past is disappointing to know that you've done that. But I've done stuff that's embarrassing or disappointing. I'm pretty sure people will be disappointed with in my past because I was a child, a teenager, whatever. I was a young adult, But now I'm an adult, so people expect more of me. So now I'm just kind of like, yo, I kind of like, I want to do better. So now if people get offended by what I say, I kind of have to like be a better person. I have to like put forward a better, I have to put forward a better effort to kind of be a better dude. But if you're going to be mad at me for like what I did when I was 7, because I'm on tape saying nigger, because I heard my brother say it, I don't care. I don't care. I was 7. I don't know if that tape really exists, but if it does, I don't care. I was 7.
I agree.
All right. Well, I think we
And that concludes the On the Table podcast.
I think we now definitely see that Spot will not be apologized for
don't
anything.
give a
So
And on
you got
that
any letters,
note,
just send them in to me. 'Cause
Hey,
he's definitely not gonna
again,
I will
all hate
apologize
mail.
for all of Spot's
No,
transgressions.
don't do it, 'cause
Come
then
to
they gonna
me,
know.
and I will do
I'm
it.
not. You guys know how I
I
really
will
feel.
apologize.
You guys
I'm gonna be
understand how
starting
to
I
the
a
feel.
support
Asian
group for all the
community for
people that
him
Spot
slapping
Collins
that
is
old
offended.
man.
I don't care. He deserved it. He shouldn't have stepped on my Doc Martens.
On my Stacey Adams.
He shouldn't have stepped on my Stacey Adams. He scuffed my Chucks. Didn't even say I'm sorry.
Like, subscribe,
So I pushed him.
comment. Do you agree with Spot's non-apologetic
I can't wait for all the
Or do you
all
agree
the
with
hood
mine,
niggas and all the ignorant country folks that I love so much. The ignorant hood dudes like that nigga speaking facts. Fuck them.
Have you been offended, abused,
been
or extorted by Spot Collins?
Are you offended by Spot's take?
Call Robbie.
Comment.
Shout out to all
Like
the
and subscribe.
anti-PC people.
Share the
Anti-PC.
video if you are offended.
APC.
The Robbie
next
Show
time.
is looking for all people who have been hurt before by Spot Collins in the past.
The On the Tables podcast is looking for a new host to replace Spot Collins and his hot views
We come back and it's a guy who looks just like Spot, but
And
it's
it-
not him.
in a different flannel.